Hello, my dear friend. It's Emma here. I'm so glad you've come to spend this time with me tonight. I want you to know that this is your safe space, your peaceful refuge from the busy world outside. Whatever worries you carried with you today, you can set them down now. They'll still be there tomorrow if you need them, but right now, in this moment, you can simply let go and rest. Take a deep breath with me. In through your nose, slowly, gently, and out through your mouth, releasing any tension you might be holding. Perfect. You're doing beautifully. Tonight, I'm going to tell you a story. It's a story about a very special place, a place that exists just beyond the edge of where maps end and dreams begin. This is the story of the Hotel of Sleep, and I promise you, by the time our journey together ends, you'll feel so wonderfully relaxed, so peacefully drowsy, that sleep will come to you as naturally as breathing. But we're not going to rush. We have all the time in the world. 3 gentle hours together, just you and me, and the soft sound of rain beginning to fall somewhere in the distance. Can you hear it? Those first few drops, tapping against leaves, whispering against the earth. The storm is still far away, but it's coming closer, and it will wrap around us like the softest blanket you've ever known. Let's begin. You've been traveling for what feels like a very long time. Not in the exhausting way that makes your muscles ache and your mind race, but in that dreamy, suspended way where time seems to move differently, where each moment stretches and softens like honey spreading across warm toast. You're not quite sure how you got here, to this particular stretch of country road, and somehow that doesn't seem to matter. What matters is that you're here now, and the light is beginning to change. The sun is setting, you see. It's that particular kind of sunset that only happens in early autumn, when the air carries just the slightest hint of coolness, and the light turns everything golden and amber and soft. The sky above you is painted in layers, like watercolors bleeding into each other. There's deep blue at the very top, the blue of twilight that's just beginning to deepen. Below that, shades of purple and lavender, then pink, then that incredible golden orange that seems to glow from within. And at the horizon, where the sun is just touching the line between earth and sky, there's a ribbon of brilliant coral that takes your breath away. You're walking along a narrow road. It's unpaved, this road made of fine gravel that crunches softly beneath your feet with each step. The sound is rhythmic, soothing. Crunch, crunch, crunch. Left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot. You're not tired from walking. In fact, you feel lighter with each step, as if some invisible weight is gradually lifting from your shoulders. On either side of the road, there are fields. Wild fields, not the cultivated kind, but the sort that have been left to grow as they please. Tall grasses sway in the gentle breeze, and scattered among them are wildflowers. Even in the fading light, you can see their colors. White Queen Anne's lace, like delicate umbrellas of lace. Purple thistle, soft despite their prickly appearance. Yellow evening primrose, just beginning to open for the night. And everywhere, the silvery seed heads of dandelions gone to fluff, catching the last light and glowing like tiny moons. The breeze picks up slightly, and you can smell it now. The scent of earth and grass and growing things. There's rain coming. You can smell that too. That particular petrichor scent, the smell of rain still far away, but approaching. It's one of the most beautiful smells in the world, isn't it? That promise of rain. It makes something inside you relax even further. You continue walking, and the gravel crunches beneath your feet. Crunch, crunch, crunch. It's such a peaceful sound. Your arms swing gently at your sides. You're wearing comfortable clothes, the kind that feel like they've been worn 100 times, soft and perfectly fitted to your body. Maybe it's a favorite old sweater or a pair of pajamas that feel like a hug. Whatever it is, you feel completely comfortable, completely at ease. The road curves ahead, and you follow it without thinking, drawn forward by something you can't quite name. Curiosity, perhaps, or maybe just the natural pull of a story that wants to unfold. The light is dimming now, minute by minute, and the first stars are beginning to appear in that deep blue section of sky above you. There's Venus, bright and steady, the evening star. And there, a few more pinpricks of light, timid at first, but growing bolder as the sky darkens. As you round the curve, you see something ahead that makes you slow your steps. At first, you think perhaps you're imagining it. The light is playing tricks, surely. But no, as you continue forward, it becomes clearer. There, set back from the road, partially hidden by a row of ancient oak trees, is a wall. A very old stone wall, covered in climbing vines and moss, weathered by countless years of rain and sun and wind. It's tall, this wall, perhaps 10 feet high, and it seems to stretch in both directions as far as you can see. But what draws your attention? What makes your heart beat just a little faster with interest and wonder is the gate. There, directly ahead of you, built into the wall, is the most beautiful gate you've ever seen. It's made of wrought iron, worked into intricate patterns of leaves and vines and flowers. Even in the dimming light, you can see the craftsmanship, the way each curve and spiral has been carefully shaped by skilled hands. The iron is dark with age, but here and there, you can see hints of the deep green patina that old bronze sometimes gets. The gate is tall and arched at the top, and through its ornate metalwork, you can see hints of green, of growing things beyond. You stop at the gate. Your hand reaches out almost of its own accord, and you wrap your fingers around the cool metal. It feels solid, real, reassuring somehow. Above the gate, worked into the iron itself in elegant, flowing script, are words. You tilt your head back slightly to read them, and even in the fading light, they're clear. The Hotel of Sleep, the words say. And beneath that, in smaller letters, all who are weary are welcome here. All who are weary are welcome here. You repeat the words to yourself, and something inside your chest loosens, unfolds, releases. You are weary, aren't you? Not in a terrible way, not in a way that makes you feel broken or wrong. Just in the natural way that all living things become weary. The weariness of carrying yourself through days and weeks and months. The weariness of thinking and doing and being. The gentle, human weariness that deserves rest. You push gently on the gate, and to your surprise, it swings open smoothly, silently. Not a single creak or groan. The hinges must be well oiled, well cared for. The gate opens inward, inviting you to enter, and after only the briefest hesitation, you step through. The moment you cross the threshold, something changes. It's subtle, but you feel it immediately. The air is different here, softer somehow, warmer. The light, too, seems different, as if you've stepped into a painting where everything has been touched by golden honey. You turn to look back at the gate, which has swung closed behind you on its own, and you realize you're not concerned about it. Not at all. You can leave whenever you wish. But right now, you don't wish to leave. You wish to see what lies ahead. Before you is a path. Not gravel like the road outside, but smooth flagstone, each stone worn smooth by countless footsteps over countless years. The stones are warm beneath your feet, still holding the heat of the day. They're set into the earth with small spaces between them, and in those spaces, soft moss grows, cushioning your steps, making each footfall feel gentle and quiet. The path leads forward between two rows of the most magnificent trees you've ever seen. They're old, these trees, ancient. Their trunks are massive, gnarled, twisted into shapes that speak of hundreds of years of growth. They're oak trees, you realize, their leaves still clinging to summer green, but with just the first hints of gold beginning to show at the edges. The branches reach up and then arch over the path, meeting in the middle to form a natural canopy, a tunnel of living wood and leaves. The effect is magical, like walking through a cathedral made not by human hands, but by nature itself and time. As you walk beneath these trees, you notice how quiet it is. Not silent, not eerie, but peacefully quiet. You can hear the sound of your own breathing, steady and calm. You can hear the whisper of leaves moving in the breeze. And now, growing slightly louder, you can hear that rain. It's still not here, not yet, but it's closer than before. The storm is approaching, making its way toward you, but you're not worried. You feel perfectly safe. The path curves gently to the right, and as you follow it, the trees begin to thin. The canopy opens up, and suddenly you can see the sky again. It's deeper now, darker, the sunset having faded to that brief moment of dusk that sits between day and night. The stars are more visible now, scattered across the darkening blue like diamond dust. And there, hanging in the sky ahead of you, is the moon. It's not quite full, maybe a day or two away, but it's bright and luminous, casting its silver light across everything. And then you see it, the Hotel of Sleep. It rises before you like something out of a dream, a memory, a story you heard long ago and thought you'd forgotten. The building is not modern, not sleek and angular and glass. Instead, it's a grand old structure that seems to have grown up from the earth itself, organic and natural and right. It's built of honey-colored stone that glows in the moonlight, 3 stories tall with a steeply pitched roof of dark slate tiles. The architecture is timeless, neither strictly old nor trying to be new, but something that simply is, that has always been and will always be. The front of the hotel is covered in climbing roses. Even in the dim light, you can see them. Their leaves a deep green, their flowers, those that remain this late in the season, ranging from white to pink to deep crimson. Some of the blooms are spent, their petals fallen, but even these are beautiful, the rose hips that remain promising new life in seasons to come. The fragrance reaches you on the breeze, sweet and gentle and nostalgic, reminding you of summer gardens and grandmother's houses and long lazy afternoons when you were young. The windows of the hotel are tall and arched, and every one of them glows with warm, golden light. Not the harsh white light of fluorescent bulbs or the blue light of screens, but the soft, warm, flickering light of candles or oil lamps, or perhaps the gentlest electric bulbs designed to mimic that old-fashioned glow. Looking at those lit windows, you can almost imagine the comfort that lies within. Soft furniture, warm rooms, beds with thick quilts and soft pillows. The path continues forward, leading to a wide front porch that wraps around the entire visible portion of the building. The porch is built of the same honey-colored stone as the rest of the hotel, but the floor is smooth wood, worn to a silvery gray by years of footsteps and weather. There are rocking chairs scattered along the porch, some still gently moving, as if someone had just been sitting there moments ago. There are also hanging baskets filled with trailing plants, ferns, and ivy, and something with small white flowers that seem to glow in the moonlight. You climb the 3 shallow steps up to the porch, and the wood is smooth beneath your feet, slightly cool now that the sun has set. You can feel each board, solid and real, and the small sound your feet make echoes gently in the quiet evening air. One of the rocking chairs moves slightly as you pass, stirred by your movement, or by the breeze, or by something else, and the soft creak of wood against wood is such a comforting sound. The front door of the hotel is directly ahead of you. It's a beautiful door made of dark wood, carved with patterns of leaves and vines that echo the ironwork on the gate. The door is arched at the top, and set into it at eye level is a small window made of amber-colored glass. Light shines through that small window, warm and inviting. Beside the door, mounted on the stone wall, is an old-fashioned lantern, its candle flame protected behind glass panels, flickering and dancing, but never going out. You reach for the door handle. It's made of brass, tarnished to a soft gold, smooth and warm to the touch. For just a moment, you pause. You take a breath. And then you turn the handle and push the door open. The hinges whisper as the door swings inward. And suddenly, you're enveloped in warmth and light, and the most incredible sense of welcome you've ever experienced. You step across the threshold and into the entrance hall of the Hotel of Sleep. The first thing that strikes you is the warmth. Not too hot, not stuffy or oppressive, but perfectly warm, like stepping into a hug. The kind of warmth that makes your muscles immediately begin to relax, that makes you want to take off your shoes and curl up somewhere soft. The second thing you notice is the light. It comes from everywhere and nowhere soft and golden, making everything glow. There are candles. You see them now, dozens of them, placed on tables and shelves, and in wall sconces, their flames dancing gently and casting moving shadows across the walls. The entrance hall is not large, but it feels spacious, open, welcoming. The floor is made of wide wooden planks, dark with age and polish, covered here and there with thick rugs in deep colors, burgundy and forest green and midnight blue, patterns of flowers and vines woven into them. The walls are painted a warm cream color, and hung upon them are paintings in antique frames, landscapes mostly, scenes of countryside and gardens and forests, painted with skill and love, each one a little window into another peaceful world. Directly ahead of you is a staircase leading up to the floors above. The stairs are carpeted down the middle with a runner in that same deep burgundy, held in place by brass rods at each step. The banister is carved wood, smooth and dark, curving up and away, inviting you to climb. But you don't move toward the stairs just yet. Your attention is drawn to your right, where part of the entrance hall opens into what looks like a sitting room or parlor. You move toward it, drawn by curiosity and by the warmth emanating from that direction. As you enter the parlor, you discover the source of much of that wonderful warmth. There, set into the far wall, is a fireplace, a real stone fireplace, its opening arched and large enough that you could almost step inside. And burning in that fireplace is a fire, a real wood fire, crackling and snapping and glowing. The logs are thick and well placed, burning steadily, and the flames dance in shades of orange and yellow, and occasionally that beautiful blue that very hot wood sometimes produces. The fire is not roaring, not fierce, but steady and calm, providing both warmth and a hypnotic focal point. The room is furnished with the most comfortable-looking furniture you've ever seen. There are several sofas and armchairs, all upholstered in soft fabrics, some velvet, some linen, in colors that complement the rugs. There are small tables scattered throughout, each one bearing a lamp or a vase of flowers or a stack of books. The windows are tall and dressed in heavy curtains that have been drawn closed against the darkening night, curtains in a deep gold color that seems to capture and hold the light. But you're not alone in this room. There, rising from one of the armchairs near the fire, is a figure. A woman you see as she turns toward you, and the most wonderful sense of recognition washes over you, even though you're quite certain you've never seen her before. She's neither young nor old, or perhaps she's both at once. Her hair is long and dark, with strands of silver woven through it, pulled back loosely from her face. She's wearing a long cardigan over a simple dress, both in soft, neutral colors, and there are reading glasses hanging from a chain around her neck. Her face is kind, laugh lines crinkling at the corners of her eyes, and when she smiles at you, it's like coming home. "Welcome," she says, and her voice is everything you need it to be. Warm, gentle, unhurried. The kind of voice that has never been raised in anger, that has only ever offered comfort and understanding. We've been expecting you. You open your mouth, about to ask how that could be possible, how she could have been expecting you when you didn't even know you were coming here until you arrived. But she raises one hand, a gentle gesture, and somehow the question fades away. It doesn't matter, does it? What matters is that you're here now, and you're welcome. I'm Margaret, she says, moving toward you with an easy grace. I'm the keeper of this hotel, though we don't stand much on formality here. You can call me Margaret, or Maggie if you prefer, or really anything you like. She reaches out and takes your hand in both of hers, and her hands are warm and soft, her grip gentle but steady. You've traveled far to reach us, haven't you? I can see the weariness in your eyes, the good kind of weariness, the kind that means you're ready for rest. You nod and you realize it's true. You are ready for rest, so ready. Well then, Margaret says, releasing your hand and turning to gesture around the room. Let me tell you a little about the Hotel of Sleep. This is a place of rest, you see, a sanctuary. It exists for those who need it most, those who carry the weight of wakefulness, who struggle in the dark hours of the night when sleep should come, but doesn't. This is a place where you can finally put down all those things you carry and simply rest. She moves back toward the fire, and you follow her, drawn by both her presence and the warmth of the flames. She settles back into her armchair and gestures to the sofa nearest her, and you sink down into it without hesitation. Oh, it's comfortable. The cushions are deep and soft, but still supportive, and the moment you sit, your body seems to sigh with relief. You lean back, and the sofa embraces you like the arms of someone who loves you. The hotel has many rooms, Margaret continues, her voice taking on that storytelling quality, unhurried and smooth. Guest rooms, of course, each one unique, each one perfectly suited to whoever stays there. But there are other rooms too. Reading rooms filled with books, conservatories full of plants, music rooms with instruments that play themselves if you wish, or wait silently for your hands. There are dining rooms and kitchens, although you'll find you're not particularly hungry here. The hunger that brought you here isn't one that food can satisfy. You nod, she's right. You're not hungry at all. You feel light, unburdened. And then, Margaret says, her eyes twinkling in the firelight, there are the gardens. Oh, the gardens are something special. They're particularly beautiful at this time of evening, in the dusk, when the day flowers are closing and the night flowers are opening. The gardens are where many of our guests spend their time, walking the paths, sitting on the benches, listening to the fountain. Would you like to see them? Would you like to see them? The question hangs in the air, and you realize that yes, you would very much like to see these gardens. You nod, and Margaret's smile widens. Wonderful, she says. But first, let's get you properly settled. You'll need a room, of course, a place that's yours while you're here. Let me show you to it, and then I'll take you out to the gardens. How does that sound? It sounds perfect. Everything about this place sounds perfect. You push yourself up from the sofa, and even that small effort feels different here, easier somehow, as if gravity has loosened its grip on you just slightly. Margaret stands as well, moving toward the entrance hall, and you follow her. As you leave the parlor, you notice details you missed before. There's a grandfather clock standing in one corner of the entrance hall, its pendulum swinging slowly back and forth, its tick-tock steady and soothing. The time shown on its face doesn't seem to match anything you know, but that's all right. Time moves differently here. You suspected that already. There's also a small table near the door, and on it is a bowl filled with smooth stones, each one a different color. Beside the bowl is a small sign, handwritten in elegant script. "Take one to remember," it says. You'll take one later, you think, when you leave. If you leave, the thought doesn't trouble you. Margaret leads you to the staircase, and you begin to climb. The stairs are solid beneath your feet, not creaking even slightly despite their obvious age. Your hand slides along the banister, and the wood is smooth and perfectly shaped to your grip. As you climb, you pass windows, tall and arched, and through them you can see the night. It's fully dark now, the stars brilliant in the sky, the moon bright and round. And you can hear it now more clearly. The rain. It's starting to fall. The first drops hitting the windows with soft taps, like someone gently knocking, asking to be let in. "The storm is arriving," Margaret says from ahead of you, her voice calm and pleased. "Right on time. The rain is good. It makes everything fresh, clean. And the sound of it is so soothing, don't you think? Like nature's own lullaby." You reach the second-floor landing, and here another hallway stretches out, lined with doors. Each door is painted a different color, soft pastels, sage green and powder blue, and palest lavender. Some of the doors have small wreaths hanging on them, made of dried flowers and herbs. Others have small brass plaques with numbers or names. Margaret continues down the hallway, and you follow, your feet making no sound at all on the carpet runner. She stops at a door about halfway down the hall. This one is painted a soft, dreamy blue, the color of the sky just after sunset, but before full dark. There's a small wreath on this door, made of dried lavender and white roses, and just looking at it makes you feel peaceful. Margaret produces a key from the pocket of her cardigan. It's an old-fashioned key, made of brass, with an ornate head shaped like a flower. She fits it into the lock and turns it, and the door swings open. "This is your room," she says, stepping aside so you can enter first. "For as long as you need it." You step through the doorway, and oh, it's beautiful. The room is not large, but it's perfect. The walls are painted that same soft blue as the door, and the light, coming from several lamps with cream-colored shades, is warm and gentle. Against the far wall is a bed. Not just any bed, but the most inviting bed you've ever seen. It's an antique, the frame made of iron painted white, with posts at each corner and a high headboard worked into delicate scrolls and curves. But it's what's on the bed that makes your breath catch. A thick mattress piled high with pillows, at least 6 of them, each one plump and soft. And over it all, a quilt. A beautiful handmade quilt in shades of blue and white and cream. The pattern intricate, perhaps stars or flowers, or something in between, stitched with obvious care and love. The quilt looks heavy, substantial, the kind of weight that would feel like a gentle hug when pulled up over your shoulders. Beside the bed is a small table, and on it is a lamp already lit and a small vase with a single white rose, fully bloomed and perfect. There's also a pitcher of water and a glass, in case you get thirsty in the night. The floor is wooden, polished to a soft gleam, with a thick rug beside the bed, so your feet won't touch cold floor if you get up. Against another wall is a small writing desk with a chair, and on the desk is a journal, leather-bound and beautiful, and a fountain pen. For your thoughts, perhaps, if you have any you want to capture. There's also a comfortable reading chair in the corner, upholstered in cream-colored linen, with a small side table and a reading lamp beside it. And on the table is a stack of books, old books with worn spines, and that particular smell that old books have, vanilla and dust and time. The window in this room is tall and arched, like all the others, and the curtains are open, tied back with braided cords. Through the window, you can see the night and the stars and the gardens below, and you can hear the rain, falling steadily now, pattering against the glass, running down in rivulets. Is it all right? Margaret asks from behind you, and you turn to face her. All right, it's perfect, beyond perfect. You tell her so, or maybe you just nod, overcome with emotion for reasons you can't quite name. She understands. She smiles that warm, knowing smile. I'm so glad, she says. Now, the bathroom is through that door there. She points to a door you hadn't noticed, painted to blend with the wall. And you'll find everything you need. Towels, soap, anything you might want. But you don't need to think about any of that right now. Right now, I thought we might go see the gardens, if you're still interested. The rain has made everything even more beautiful, and there's something I think you'd particularly enjoy seeing. The gardens. Yes, even though this room is so comfortable, so inviting, even though that bed looks like it might be the most comfortable place in the universe, you want to see the gardens. You nod. Wonderful, Margaret says. Come with me then. We'll go down the back way through the conservatory. It's shorter, and you'll love the conservatory. Everyone does. You follow her back out into the hallway. But instead of returning to the main staircase, she leads you in the opposite direction, to a narrower staircase at the end of the hall. These stairs are wooden and spiral, winding down and around, and as you descend, you can smell something new, something green and growing and alive. Plants. You emerge into a room that takes your breath away. The conservatory. It's a large room with a glass ceiling and walls, though right now all you can see through that glass is the darkness of night and the rain, rivers of water streaming down the glass panes, distorting and refracting the light from within. But inside, oh, inside it's a paradise. Plants are everywhere. Potted trees reaching toward the glass ceiling, their leaves a dozen shades of green. Climbing vines covering trellises, their tendrils reaching and curling. Flowering plants in pots and planters and raised beds blooming in white and pink and yellow. Ferns, their fronds unfurling in delicate spirals. Orchids, elegant and exotic. Herbs growing in neat rows, their fragrance filling the air. Lavender and rosemary and mint and basil. The scent is incredible, fresh and alive and clean. There's a path through the conservatory, flagstone like outside, winding between the beds and pots. You can hear water, a small fountain somewhere, the musical tinkle of water falling into a pool. And you can hear the rain drumming on the glass ceiling, a constant rhythm that seems to make everything inside feel even more sheltered, even more safe. Margaret leads you through this green paradise, and you follow, your eyes trying to take in everything at once. The conservatory isn't large, but it's densely planted, every space used, every corner a tiny ecosystem. As you walk, you reach out to trail your fingers over the leaves of a large fern, and they're cool and soft, slightly damp. At the far end of the conservatory is a door, wooden and arched, with glass panes in its upper half. Through the glass, you can see the gardens beyond, dimly lit by lights placed along the paths and among the plants. Margaret opens this door, and immediately you can hear the rain more clearly, falling on leaves and grass and stone, and you can smell it too, that wonderful petrichor scent stronger now, mixed with the scent of wet earth and growing things. The gardens are extensive, Margaret says as you both step outside, not quite into the rain, but under a covered walkway that extends from the conservatory door, a wooden pergola with a roof of slats, over which climbing roses grow. The rain falls around you, but not on you, and the sound of it is everywhere, surrounding you, enveloping you in its rhythm. They were designed over 100 years ago by a landscape architect who believed that gardens should be places of healing, sanctuaries for the soul. He created different areas, different rooms almost, each with its own character, its own mood. There's a rose garden and a herb garden, a meditation garden and a water garden, a wild garden, and even a small maze. But the area I want to show you tonight is what we call the sanctuary garden. It's at the heart of all the others, and it's particularly special at this time of night, in this weather. She sets off along the covered walkway, and you follow, mesmerized by the sound and smell and feel of the rain all around you. The walkway is long, winding through the gardens, and on either side you can see shapes in the darkness, illuminated by soft lights. The silhouettes of trees, the forms of bushes shaped into curves and spirals, the occasional statue or sculpture, weathered by time and rain. Everything is wet, gleaming, dripping. The lights reflect in puddles forming on the path, creating mirror images, doubling the beauty. You pass through an archway, covered in some kind of flowering vine, and suddenly the walkway opens into a circular covered area, a gazebo perhaps, though larger and more solid than that word implies. The roof is tiled, and the rain drums on it steadily, a deeper sound than the patter on leaves. The structure has pillars but no walls, open on all sides, and in the center is a circular bench, cushioned and dry, facing outward in all directions. But it's what lies beyond this gazebo that makes you stop and stare in wonder. The sanctuary garden. It's a circular space, enclosed by tall hedges that provide shelter from wind, but not from rain. The hedges are ancient, their leaves dark and glossy, clipped into smooth curves. Within this circular space, the garden has been designed with incredible care and artistry. There are beds of flowers, even now in the beginning of autumn still blooming. There are ornamental grasses, their seed heads nodding in the rain. There are small trees, Japanese maples perhaps, their delicate leaves catching the light. And throughout the garden, placed with perfect spacing and symmetry, are lights. Not bright lights, but soft ones, glowing gently, some at ground level, others raised on stakes, creating pools and columns of warm light that turn the rain falling through them into gold and silver. But the centerpiece of this garden, the thing that holds your attention and won't let it go, is the fountain. It sits in the very center of the circular space, and it's beautiful. Made of stone, weathered and ancient, carved into the shape of a lotus flower, tier upon tier of stone petals. Water flows from the top, down over each level of petals, creating a cascade, a waterfall in miniature. And the rain is falling into it, adding to the water, creating ripples and splashes, making the whole fountain come alive with movement and sound. The sound. Oh, the sound. The rain falling on leaves and grass and stone. The water of the fountain flowing and splashing. It all combines into something that isn't quite music, but isn't quite not music either. A symphony of water in all its forms, playing just for you, just for this moment. Beautiful, isn't it? Margaret says softly beside you. She's settled onto the circular bench, and you realize you should sit too. You move to the bench and sit beside her, sinking into the cushions. And from here, you have a perfect view of the garden and the fountain, and the rain falling through the light. This garden has a special quality, Margaret continues, her voice blending with the sound of the rain, becoming part of it. People who sit here find that their thoughts begin to slow. The worries that seemed so urgent, so pressing, they begin to feel less heavy. The mind begins to quiet. Some people fall asleep right here on this bench, and that's perfectly all right. Others just sit and watch and listen until they feel ready to go to their rooms and truly rest. There's no right or wrong way to be here. There's only being here in this moment with the rain and the garden and the peace. You nod, though you're not sure she sees it. You're watching the fountain, watching the rain. The droplets fall through the light, each one visible for just a moment before it joins the pool of water, or the wet earth, or the gleaming leaves. It's hypnotic. Your breathing has slowed, deepened. In and out, steady and calm, matching some rhythm you can feel, but can't quite name. Time passes. You're not sure how much. It doesn't matter. The rain continues to fall, sometimes harder, sometimes softer, but always there, always steady. The fountain continues its endless cascade. The lights glow. And slowly, gradually, everything inside you that was tight begins to loosen. Every muscle that was holding tension begins to release. Every thought that was racing begins to slow. This is the magic of the hotel of sleep, you realize. Not a magic of spells or enchantments, but the magic of simply being allowed to stop, to pause, to rest. In your normal life, you're always moving, always doing, always thinking. Even when you're trying to sleep, your mind often keeps going, worrying, planning, reviewing. But here, in this place, all of that can stop. Here, you're held by something larger than yourself. The rain, the night, the garden, the presence of Margaret beside you. You're safe. You're welcome. You can let go. You sit in the peaceful sanctuary, watching the rain, and you feel Margaret shift beside you. She doesn't speak for a long while, and the silence between you is comfortable, easy, like sitting with an old friend who doesn't need words to communicate understanding. The rain continues its steady rhythm, and you find yourself breathing in time with it, each inhale and exhale perfectly synchronized with the rise and fall of the water's song. After what might be minutes, or might be much longer, Margaret speaks, her voice barely above a whisper, soft enough that it doesn't disturb the peace, but clear enough that you hear every word. Would you like to explore a bit? She asks. The gardens have so much to offer, and at night, in the rain, they reveal secrets they keep hidden during the day. Or, if you prefer, we can simply sit here longer. There's no schedule here, no itinerary. Only what feels right to you in each moment. You consider this. Part of you could sit here forever, watching the fountain, listening to the rain. But another part, a curious part, wants to see what else these gardens might hold. You turn to Margaret and nod. Yes, you'd like to explore. She smiles, that warm smile that seems to light her from within, and rises from the bench. You stand as well, feeling how relaxed your body has become, how loose and easy your movements are now. Margaret leads you back along the covered walkway, but this time she takes a different path, branching off to the left through another archway woven with vines. This new path is also covered, but more intermittently. Sometimes there's a solid roof above you, sometimes just the lattice work of a pergola with plants growing across it. The rain finds its way through these gaps, and occasional drops fall on your shoulders, your hair, cool and clean. It feels good, refreshing. You don't mind at all. Each section of the garden has a different purpose, Margaret explains as you walk, her pace leisurely, unhurried. The designer believed that different states of mind required different environments. He was quite ahead of his time, really. This path we're on now leads to what we call the meditation garden. It's a place of stillness, of quiet reflection. Many guests find it helpful when they need to calm racing thoughts. The path curves, and suddenly you emerge into another enclosed space. This one is rectangular rather than circular, and longer, creating a sense of perspective and depth. The hedges here are taller, creating high walls of green that make the space feel protected, enclosed, safe. The ground is covered in fine gravel, pale in color, almost white, and it seems to glow faintly in the dim light. Placed throughout this garden, with perfect spacing and symmetry, are large stones. River rocks, you think, worn smooth by centuries of water. They're dark, nearly black when wet, and they've been placed upright, like standing stones, each one a different height. Some are tall, reaching nearly to your waist. Others are shorter, perhaps knee height. They're arranged in a pattern that seems both random and purposeful, creating a path of sorts, a journey through the space. At the far end of the garden is a single bench, simple and made of stone, and behind it, set into the hedge, is a small alcove with a statue. Even from here, you can see it's a figure in meditation, sitting cross-legged, hands resting peacefully in its lap, face serene. The rain falls on the statue as it falls on everything else, and water runs down its peaceful face like tears, but not sad tears. Tears of release, perhaps, of letting go. Some guests like to walk the path between the stones, Margaret says softly. They find it helps to give the mind something to focus on, something simple and physical. One stone to the next, one step, and then another. It's a form of walking meditation, I suppose. Others prefer to simply sit and watch the rain fall on the gravel. The way the drops make tiny craters, the way the gravel absorbs the water. It can be quite mesmerizing. You step forward onto the gravel, and immediately you can feel the difference beneath your feet. It shifts slightly with each step, making a soft, crunching sound, but quieter than the gravel on the road outside the hotel. Softer. The rain is falling here into this garden, and you can hear it hitting the gravel, thousands of tiny impacts, creating a sound like static, like white noise, like the ocean heard from very far away. You begin to walk the path between the stones, moving from one to the next, not thinking about it, just following what feels natural. Each stone you pass is unique. Some are smooth and rounded. Others have rough patches or interesting textures. Some are dark gray. Others have veins of white or rust running through them. You reach out and touch one as you pass, and it's wet and cool and solid, so very solid, as if it's been here since the beginning of time and will be here long after you're gone. There's something comforting about that permanence. You continue walking, and Margaret follows at a distance, giving you space to experience this at your own pace. The rain falls on your hair, your shoulders. You're getting wet, you realize, but not uncomfortably so. It's gentle rain, not a downpour. It's refreshing, cleansing almost, washing away the dust of travel, the accumulated tiredness of days and weeks. Each drop that touches your skin feels like a tiny blessing, a small moment of grace. You reach the bench at the far end and sit down. The stone is cold at first, but not unpleasantly so, and you can feel the wetness soaking through your clothes slightly. But again, it doesn't bother you. Margaret joins you, sitting beside you on the bench, and together you look back the way you came, at the stones standing in the rain, at the gravel scattered with puddles beginning to form, at the high hedges holding this space safe. I find this garden particularly helpful when I'm struggling with acceptance, Margaret says quietly. When there are things I cannot change, things I must simply allow to be. The stones stand in the rain. They don't resist it. They don't wish for sunshine or curse the clouds. They simply stand, and the rain falls on them, and that's all. There's a kind of wisdom in that, I think. a kind of peace in accepting what is, rather than fighting what we wish were different. Her words sink into you like the rain sinks into the earth. You sit with them, feeling their truth. How much energy you've spent, you realize, fighting against things you cannot change, wishing circumstances were different, regretting choices made, worrying about futures that may never come. And here, in this garden, in this rain, none of that matters. Here, there is only now, only this moment, only the rain falling and the stones standing and you breathing, being, existing in this perfect, peaceful present. You're not sure how long you sit there. Time has that same fluid quality it's had since you arrived at the hotel, stretching and compressing, becoming irrelevant. Eventually, though, you feel ready to move on, and Margaret seems to sense this. She stands, and you stand with her, and together you return to the path. The covered walkway continues, leading deeper into the gardens. You pass by other enclosed spaces, other garden rooms, and Margaret names them as you go, though she doesn't stop at each one. That's the rose garden, she says, gesturing to an opening in the hedges where you can glimpse row upon row of rose bushes, their blooms closed now for the night, their fragrance still hanging heavy in the wet air. And there, that's the herb garden, though it's really more of a sensory garden. Everything in it can be touched and smelled. The textures and scents are wonderful, especially after rain. You continue walking, and the path begins to slope gently downward. You can hear something ahead, a new sound beneath the rain. Water, but different from the fountain. Moving water, a stream perhaps, or a small river. Ah, Margaret says with satisfaction, we're approaching the water garden. This is one of my favorites at night. Come, you'll see. The path levels out and opens into the largest garden space you've seen yet. It's built around water, you see immediately. A pond, quite large, perhaps 30 feet across, roughly oval in shape. The surface of the pond is alive with rain, thousands of drops creating endless ripples that overlap and intersect, creating patterns too complex to follow, mesmerizing in their chaos and beauty. Around the pond's edge, the garden has been designed to create a natural-looking setting. Large rocks and boulders, some partially submerged, others forming the bank. Ornamental grasses growing in clumps, their leaves trailing into the water. Water plants, their leaves floating on the surface, dark circles against the rain-rippled water. And trees, carefully placed, Japanese maples and weeping willows, their branches hanging down, some touching the water's surface. But what makes this garden truly special are the lights. They've been placed underwater, around the pond's edge, and they shine up through the water, creating an ethereal, otherworldly glow. The light turns the water blue-green, magical, and silhouettes the floating leaves and the trailing branches. The rain falling into this illuminated water looks like falling stars, each drop catching the light as it falls, creating tiny explosions of brightness where it hits the surface. There's a small bridge spanning the narrowest part of the pond, made of weathered wood with simple railings. Margaret leads you to it, and you step onto the boards, feeling them solid beneath your feet despite their age. From the center of the bridge, you have a perfect view of the entire pond, and you stop there, gripping the railing, looking down into the water. You can see fish. Koi, you think, their colors visible even in the dim light thanks to the underwater illumination. Orange and white, some spotted, some solid colored. They're swimming slowly, gracefully, their movements lazy and unhurried. They don't seem bothered by the rain at all. They simply swim their slow circles, occasionally rising to the surface and then sinking back down into the greenlit depths. The koi are very old, Margaret says beside you, her elbows resting on the railing, her gaze on the water. Some of them have been here for 50 years or more. Koi can live a very long time, did you know that? 100 years, some of them, if they're well cared for. These ones are well cared for. They're fed every day, and the pond is kept clean and balanced. They have everything they need, so they simply exist, swimming, eating, resting. It's a peaceful life, I think. A good life. You watch the fish, and she's right. There's something deeply peaceful about watching them swim. Their movements are so fluid, so effortless. They don't struggle or strain. They simply are, moving through their world with perfect grace and ease. The rain continues to fall, and you tilt your face up to feel it on your skin. The drops are cool, but not cold, and they feel wonderful. Each one a tiny kiss from the sky. You close your eyes for a moment, just feeling the rain on your face, the solid wood of the bridge beneath your feet, the sound of water all around you, falling and flowing and moving. The presence of Margaret beside you, comfortable and companionable. When you open your eyes, you notice something you hadn't seen before. At the far end of the pond, partially hidden by the trailing branches of a willow tree, is a small pavilion. It's built out over the water, supported by posts. It's floor level with the pond's surface. The structure is simple, just a floor and a roof, no walls, open on all sides. And inside it, you can see cushions, pillows, what looks like a low couch or daybed. Margaret follows your gaze and smiles. That's the water pavilion, she says. It's meant for resting, for napping if you feel so inclined. The sound of the rain on the roof, the sight of the water all around, the fish swimming below. Many guests find it the perfect place to drift off. Would you like to try it? Would you? The idea is appealing, very appealing. But you also feel like there's more to see, and you're not quite ready to rest yet. You shake your head gently, and Margaret nods, understanding. Another time, perhaps, she says. Or perhaps later tonight, if you feel drawn back here. The gardens are always open. You can come and go as you please. Many guests find they want to visit the same spots multiple times, each time discovering something new, even in familiar places. You cross the rest of the bridge and continue along the path on the other side of the pond. As you walk, you glance back and see the whole scene, the bridge arching over the water, the lights glowing beneath the surface, the rain falling in curtains of silver through the darkness. It's so beautiful it makes your chest ache in the best way. The path leads you through another archway and into what Margaret identifies as the wild garden. Here, the design is deliberately less controlled, more chaotic. Plants grow in profusion, tangled together, spilling over the edges of beds and onto the paths. It's beautiful in a different way, natural and unrestrained. There are wildflowers here, even this late in the season, and grasses that have been allowed to grow tall, and berry bushes with fruit hanging heavy on their branches. This garden is about embracing the untamed, Margaret explains, about letting go of the need to control everything, to have everything neat and ordered and perfect. Sometimes beauty comes from wildness, from allowing things to grow as they will. Sometimes the most important thing we can do is simply step back and let nature take its course. You walk through this wild space, and creatures move in the undergrowth, startled by your presence. A frog, perhaps, hopping into the wet grass. A bird roosting in a bush, shifting its position. You catch glimpses of movement, hear small sounds beneath the larger sound of the rain, and it all feels alive, vibrant, real. The wild garden eventually gives way to a more structured space, and you find yourself in what must be the maze Margaret mentioned. Even in the darkness, you can see the hedges forming walls, creating passages and dead ends and choices. The hedges are tall here, taller than your head, and they've been trimmed into precise rectangular shapes, creating clean lines and sharp corners. The maze isn't meant to be challenging, Margaret says as you stand at its entrance. It's small, and you can't truly get lost in it. But some guests find it helpful to walk through it, to make choices, to turn left or right, to discover that even if a path leads to a dead end, you can always turn around and try a different way. It's a metaphor, I suppose, for life, for problem solving, for understanding that getting lost is sometimes part of finding your way. You step into the maze, and Margaret stays at the entrance. "I'll wait here," she says. "Take your time. Follow your instincts. There's a center to the maze, a destination, and you'll find it when you're meant to." And so you walk into the maze alone. The hedges rise on either side of you, dark and dense, blocking the view of anything beyond. The rain falls from above onto the gravel path beneath your feet, and the sound echoes slightly in this enclosed space. You come to a fork in the path and pause. Left or right? You choose left, not thinking about it, just following an impulse. The path leads forward for several feet, then turns right. You follow it. Another choice presents itself, and you choose again. Straight ahead this time. The path narrows slightly, then opens up again. You're not trying to memorize your route or create a mental map. You're just walking, choosing, moving forward. Some of the paths you choose lead to dead ends, and when they do, you simply turn around and go back, trying a different route. There's no frustration in this, no sense of failure. It's just exploring, discovering, being present in each moment and each choice. And then, after what might be 5 minutes or might be 15, you turn a corner and find yourself in a small circular clearing at the center of the maze. And there, in the middle of this clearing, is a tree. A cherry tree, you think, though without blossoms at this time of year, it's hard to be certain. The tree is old, its trunk gnarled and thick, its branches spreading overhead to create a canopy. And beneath the tree is a bench, curved to follow the circle of the clearing. And on the bench are cushions, dry despite the rain, because the tree's canopy provides shelter. You sit on the bench, sinking into the cushions, and look up at the tree branches above you. The leaves are still mostly intact, though you can see that some have begun to turn yellow and gold. Rain catches in the leaves and then drips down in fat drops, hitting the ground with soft plops. The sound is different here, more organic, more alive than rain hitting stone or gravel. Sitting here in the center of the maze, beneath this ancient tree, you feel something shift inside you. It's subtle but unmistakable, a release of some kind, a letting go. All the small worries and concerns that you carry with you every day, the ones that pile up and weigh you down, they seem to be loosening their grip. Not disappearing entirely, they're still there, but they're becoming lighter, less urgent, less important. You realize that this is what the Hotel of Sleep offers. Not a forgetting, not an escape from reality, but a perspective shift. A chance to step back from the rush and noise and constant demands of your everyday life and remember what really matters. Peace, rest, the simple beauty of rain falling on leaves and water, moving in a pond, and stones standing silent and eternal in a garden. You sit under the tree for a long time, just breathing, just being. The rain continues its steady rhythm. The night holds you gently, and slowly, gradually, you feel your eyes beginning to grow heavy. Not fighting it, not forcing it, just a natural tiredness creeping over you like a soft blanket. Eventually, you stand and make your way back through the maze. This time, the path reveals itself easily, as if the maze has decided you've learned what you needed to learn and is ready to let you go. You emerge at the entrance to find Margaret still waiting, her expression peaceful and knowing. You found the center, she says. It's not a question. You nod. Good, she says simply. Are you ready to return to your room? I think perhaps your body is telling you it's time to rest properly. She's right. You are tired now, truly tired, in the best possible way. The kind of tired that comes after a long day of good work, or after swimming in the ocean, or after laughing until your stomach hurts. A tired that promises deep, restorative sleep. Margaret leads you back along the paths, through the gardens, past the pond, and the meditation garden, and the sanctuary garden, with its beautiful fountain, still cascading in the rain. You return to the conservatory, stepping back into that warm, plant-filled space, and then through it to the spiral staircase that leads up to your room. As you climb the stairs, your feet feel heavy in the most pleasant way. Your whole body feels relaxed, loose, ready for sleep. Margaret walks beside you, and her presence is comforting, maternal almost, caring. You reach the second floor and make your way down the hallway to your room, the one with the soft blue door and the lavender wreath. Margaret takes out that brass key and unlocks the door, pushing it open for you. "I'll leave you now," she says softly. "Your room is ready for you, and everything you need is here. Sleep as long as you like. There's no schedule, no alarm clocks, no obligations. When you wake, if you wake, you can explore more, or you can simply rest. The choice is always yours." She reaches out and squeezes your hand gently, and then she turns and walks back down the hallway, her footsteps silent on the carpet runner. You watch her go, and then you step into your room and close the door behind you. The room is exactly as you left it, but somehow it feels even more welcoming now. The lamps are still lit, casting their warm glow. The bed looks impossibly inviting, that thick quilt calling to you. You can hear the rain against the window, a constant, gentle pattering that's almost like music. You move to the window and look out at the gardens below. From here, you can see several of the spaces you visited. The lights glowing through the rain, the dark shapes of hedges and trees, the pond, its surface reflecting the underwater lights. It's all so beautiful, so peaceful. You turn from the window and begin to prepare for bed. There's no rush, no hurry. You move slowly, mindfully, enjoying each small action. You find the bathroom through that nearly invisible door, and it's as perfect as the rest of the room. A deep clawfoot tub, a pedestal sink with brass fixtures, fluffy white towels hanging on a heated rack. The soap smells like lavender and honey, and when you wash your hands and face, the warm water feels wonderful on your rain-cooled skin. You return to the bedroom and notice that someone has been here while you were gone. There's a cup on the bedside table that wasn't there before, steam rising from it. You pick it up and smell it. Chamomile tea with hints of honey and vanilla. It's perfectly warm, not too hot, and when you sip it, the flavor is soothing, comforting, exactly what you didn't know you needed. You carry the cup to the reading chair and sit, curling your legs under you, sipping the tea slowly. The rain continues against the window. The lamps glow softly. The room is perfectly warm, perfectly quiet, except for the gentle sounds of rain and the occasional creak of the old house settling. As you drink your tea, you notice the journal on the desk, and on impulse, you set down your cup and go to it. You open it to find thick, cream-colored pages, completely blank, waiting. You pick up the fountain pen, and it's perfectly weighted in your hand, the nib smooth and ready. You begin to write, not thinking about it, just letting your thoughts flow onto the page. You write about your journey here, about the sunset and the gate and meeting Margaret. You write about the gardens, about the fountain and the meditation stones, and the koi swimming in their illuminated pond. You write about the maze and the tree at its center, and the feeling of release you experience there. Your handwriting flows across the page, and there's something deeply satisfying about it, about putting your experience into words, about capturing these moments before they fade into the soft blur of memory. When you finish writing, you close the journal and set the pen beside it. The tea is finished, the cup empty. You're ready now, ready for sleep. You go to the bed and pull back the heavy quilt, revealing crisp white sheets beneath, so smooth and inviting. You slip between them, and oh, they're perfect. Cool against your skin, but not cold, smooth and soft at the same time. You pull the quilt back up over yourself, and the weight of it is exactly right, substantial, but not heavy, comforting like being held. You settle your head into the pillows, and they're somehow both soft and supportive, cradling your head and neck perfectly. You can still hear the rain, steady and constant, and the sound is the most soothing thing you've ever heard. Your body sinks into the mattress, every muscle relaxing, every joint loosening. You think about the day, about everything you've experienced since arriving at the Hotel of Sleep. The kindness of Margaret, the beauty of the gardens, the peace you found in each space, the feeling of being held, cared for, allowed to simply be. Your eyes are growing heavier now, harder to keep open. You let them close, and behind your closed lids, you can still see the gardens, the fountain cascading in the rain, the koi swimming their slow circles, the stones standing in meditation, the tree at the center of the maze. All of it is there, painted on the darkness, beautiful and peaceful and yours to revisit whenever you need. Your breathing has slowed, deepened, in and out, steady and calm. You can feel yourself drifting, floating on some gentle current that's carrying you away from wakefulness and toward sleep. You don't resist it. You let it carry you, trusting it, knowing that you're safe, that you're exactly where you need to be. The rain continues to fall. The hotel stands solid around you, protecting you, sheltering you. Margaret is somewhere in the building, watching over her guests, making sure everyone is comfortable and at peace. And you are in this perfect room, in this perfect bed, warm and safe and loved. You drift deeper, and the gardens come with you, transforming into dreams. You're walking through them again, but this time the rain has stopped, and the moon is fuller, brighter, turning everything silver and magic. The fountain is made of light now, and the koi are swimming through the air, and the maze has transformed into a forest where every tree is the tree from the center, ancient and wise and kind. You drift deeper still, and even the dreams begin to fade, giving way to something more profound. Pure rest, pure peace, the deepest, most restorative sleep you've had in longer than you can remember. Your body is healing itself. Your mind is sorting and filing and letting go of what it doesn't need. Everything is working exactly as it should. Hours pass, many hours, and through it all, you sleep deeply and peacefully, held safe by the Hotel of Sleep and its gardens, and the gentle sound of rain that continues through the night. When you wake, it's gradual, not the jarring alarm of your normal life, not the sudden shock of obligation pulling you from sleep. Instead, it's gentle, natural, like surfacing slowly from warm water. Your consciousness returns in layers. First, awareness of your body, how comfortable you are, how rested. Then awareness of sound, that rain still falling, though lighter now, softer. Then awareness of light, filtering through your closed eyelids, gentle and golden. You don't open your eyes right away. You lie there, suspended in that beautiful space between sleeping and waking, and you simply feel the weight of the quilt over you, the softness of the sheets against your skin, the pillow cradling your head, the complete absence of any tension in your muscles, any tightness in your shoulders or jaw. You feel completely, utterly relaxed. When you finally do open your eyes, you find the room filled with the most beautiful light. It's morning, you realize, though you have no idea what time. The curtains are still open, and through the window you can see gray sky, clouds thick and low, and the rain still falling. But it's a gentle rain now, more mist than drops, and the light that comes through it is soft and diffused, turning everything in the room silver and pearl and dove gray. You stretch slowly, luxuriously, extending your arms above your head, pointing your toes, feeling your spine lengthen and your joints release. It feels wonderful. You can't remember the last time you woke feeling this good, this rested, this at peace. You sit up slowly, letting the quilt pool around your waist, and you look around the room. Everything is as it was last night, but somehow it looks different in the morning light. Softer, more real. The white rose on the bedside table has opened slightly, its petals unfurling, and its scent is stronger now, sweet and clean. You swing your legs out of bed, and your feet find the soft rug beside it. You stand, and your body feels light, almost floating. You go to the window and look out at the gardens below. In the soft morning light and gentle rain, they're even more beautiful than they were last night. Everything is wet, gleaming, the colors muted, but somehow more vivid for it. The greens are deeper, richer. The flowers that remain open seem to glow against the gray backdrop of the day. You can see the sanctuary garden from here, and the fountain is still flowing, its water cascading down the stone lotus petals. You can see part of the pond too, its surface dimpled with raindrops, and you think you can see movement in the water. The koi, perhaps, swimming their eternal circles. There's a soft knock at your door, gentle and respectful, and before you can respond, you hear Margaret's voice from the other side. "Good morning," she says, her voice warm even through the wood. "I hope you slept well. I've brought you some tea and something to eat if you're hungry. May I come in?" You call out that yes, of course she can come in, and the door opens. Margaret enters carrying a tray, and the sight of her brings an immediate smile to your face. She's wearing a different cardigan today, this one a soft gray blue that matches the rainy morning, and her hair is pinned up in a loose bun. She looks fresh and rested and happy to see you. "You slept for nearly 12 hours, she says, setting the tray down on the small desk. "A good, deep sleep, I hope." The rain continued through most of the night, which always helps. There's something about rain on the roof that makes sleep come easier, don't you think? You nod, moving to the desk to see what she's brought. On the tray is a pot of tea, delicate porcelain painted with tiny flowers, and a matching cup and saucer. There's also a small plate with what looks like homemade pastries, golden and flaky, and still warm. their scent filling the room with notes of butter and vanilla and cinnamon. And there's a bowl of fruit, fresh berries glistening with moisture, and slices of melon, pale green and perfectly ripe. I wasn't sure if you'd be hungry, Margaret says, pouring tea into the cup. The liquid is amber colored, clear and beautiful, and steam rises from it in delicate curls. Some guests find they don't have much appetite here, while others discover they're quite hungry indeed. Either way is perfectly fine. Eat what appeals to you, leave what doesn't. There's no wrong choice. You pick up the cup and sip the tea. It's different from last night's chamomile, something more complex. Black tea as a base, you think, but with other flavors woven through it. Bergamot, perhaps, and something floral, maybe rose or jasmine. It's delicious, warming you from the inside. How do you feel? Margaret asks, settling into the reading chair, seeming content to stay and visit for a while, if you wish. You consider the question. How do you feel? Rested, certainly. Peaceful. Calm. But there's something else too, something harder to name. Renewed, perhaps, or restored. Like some essential part of yourself that had been depleted has been filled back up. You try to express this, and Margaret nods with understanding. That's what the Hotel of Sleep does, she says. It gives back what the world takes away. Energy, peace, perspective, hope. All the things that get worn down by daily living, by stress and worry, and the endless demands on our time and attention. Here, you can replenish those reserves. You select one of the pastries from the plate and bite into it. It's light and buttery, filled with something that tastes like almond paste and honey, and it practically melts in your mouth. You hadn't realized you were hungry until you started eating. But now you discover that you are, and you eat the pastry slowly, savoring each bite. I thought today, Margaret says, watching you with those kind eyes, that you might like to explore more of the hotel itself. You've seen some of the gardens, and your room, of course, but there's so much more. Libraries and conservatories, music rooms and art galleries, quiet spaces and social spaces. Whatever appeals to you, we can explore. Or, if you prefer, you can spend the day in the gardens again. Or simply stay here in your room and rest. As always, the choice is entirely yours. You think about this as you sip your tea and eat a few of the berries, their flavor bright and sweet and perfect. The idea of exploring the hotel appeals to you. You feel rested enough now to be curious, to want to see what other wonders this place might hold. You tell Margaret you'd like to explore, and her face lights up with pleasure. Wonderful, she says. Take your time getting ready. There's no rush. When you're dressed and ready, come downstairs to the entrance hall. I'll meet you there, and we can begin our tour. She rises from the chair and moves toward the door, but pauses before leaving. Oh, she says, turning back. The rain should continue most of the day, though it might lighten even more this afternoon. I find rainy days perfect for indoor exploration. There's something cozy about being inside while the rain falls outside, don't you think? Safe and warm and dry while the world is washed clean. She leaves, closing the door softly behind her, and you're alone again with your breakfast and your thoughts. You finish the tea and the pastries, eat some more of the fruit, and then you make your way to the bathroom to prepare for the day. The bathroom is just as lovely as you remember, and you take your time, enjoying the ritual of washing and preparing yourself. The water from the tap is perfectly warm. The soap still smells of lavender and honey, and there are fresh towels on the heated rack, warm and fluffy and wonderful. When you're clean and refreshed, you return to the bedroom and realize you're wearing the same comfortable clothes as yesterday. They're perfectly clean though, as if they've been washed and dried overnight, soft and comfortable, and exactly right for a day of quiet exploration. You take one more look around your room before leaving, and you realize you've already become fond of it. The soft blue walls, the iron bed with its beautiful quilt, the reading chair in the corner, the journal on the desk where you wrote last night. It feels like home, or like what home should feel like. Safe, comfortable, peaceful. You open the door and step into the hallway. It's quiet, the carpet runners soft beneath your feet, and you make your way to the main staircase. As you descend, you run your hand along the smooth banister, and you notice details you missed last night. The way the light from the windows catches in the grain of the wood, the paintings on the walls, each one different, each one beautiful. The subtle scent of beeswax polish and old wood, and something else, something that might be lavender or might just be the essential smell of this place. You reach the entrance hall and find Margaret waiting for you, as promised. She's standing near that grandfather clock you noticed last night, and she smiles when she sees you. Perfect timing, she says. Are you ready to explore? You nod, and she gestures for you to follow her. Instead of going toward the parlor where you first met her, she leads you in the opposite direction, through a doorway you hadn't noticed before, one that blends so seamlessly with the wall that it's almost invisible until you're right upon it. Beyond the doorway is a corridor, narrower than the main hall, but no less beautiful. The walls here are lined with bookshelves, floor to ceiling, filled with books of all sizes and colors. You slow down, drawn to them, and Margaret notices. This is just the beginning, she says with a smile. Wait until you see the library proper. She leads you along the corridor, past door after door, some open, some closed. Through the open ones, you catch glimpses of rooms. A small sitting room with a fireplace and a chess set on a table. A music room with a grand piano, its lid open, sheet music on the stand. A room that appears to be entirely filled with plants, a miniature jungle behind glass. The corridor curves and then opens into a large, circular room with a domed ceiling high above. And books. Oh, so many books. The walls of this circular room are entirely covered with bookshelves, reaching up to at least 15 feet, and every inch of shelf space is filled. A rolling ladder on a brass rail allows access to the higher shelves, and scattered throughout the room are comfortable chairs and small tables, perfect for settling in with a book, but it's the center of the room that draws your eye. There, directly beneath the dome, is a circular arrangement of chairs and sofas, all facing inward, and in the very center is a round table. And on that table is a model of something, a miniature landscape, incredibly detailed and beautiful. You move closer to see. It's the hotel and gardens, you realize. A perfect scale model, showing every building, every path, every tree and hedge and fountain. It's exquisitely crafted, each tiny element perfect, and looking down at it is like being a giant looking down at a tiny, perfect world. It was made by one of our earlier guests, Margaret explains, coming to stand beside you. He was an architect, and during his stay here, he found peace in creating this model. He worked on it for weeks, and when it was finished, he left it here as a gift. We treasure it. Sometimes guests use it to plan their explorations of the gardens or to remember places they've been. It helps to see the whole layout, to understand how all the different pieces fit together. You study the model, and you can identify places you visited last night. The sanctuary garden with its fountain, the meditation garden with its stones, the pond with its bridge and pavilion, the maze with its tree at the center, and so many other spaces you haven't seen yet. More gardens, more paths, more secrets waiting to be discovered. The library is available to all guests, of course, Margaret says, gesturing around the room. Any book you see, you can read. Many guests spend hours here, lost in stories or learning new things. Reading has a way of quieting the mind, of giving us something to focus on outside ourselves. It can be very restorative. You walk slowly around the room, trailing your fingers along the spines of the books. There are novels and poetry collections, history books and philosophy texts, art books with glossy illustrations, and scientific texts with diagrams. There are old books bound in leather and newer books with colorful dust jackets. Books in different languages, though you notice that each one you pull out and open, you can somehow read, as if language is fluid here, adapting to the reader's needs. You select a volume at random, a book of poetry, and open it to a random page. The poem is about rain and gardens and the quiet peace of autumn, and reading it feels like it was written specifically for this moment, for you, here and now. You read it twice, letting the words sink in, and then you close the book and return it to its shelf. There's more to see, Margaret says gently. If you're ready to continue, you are, and you follow her out of the library through another door, this one leading to a new corridor. The hotel is larger than you realized. You're beginning to understand. It seems to unfold endlessly, each room leading to another, each space revealing new beauty, new peace. Margaret leads you up a different staircase, this one narrower and winding, and at the top, you emerge into what she calls the observatory. It's a room built almost entirely of glass, windows on all sides, and a glass ceiling above, though the glass is frosted or treated somehow to diffuse the light, making it soft and gentle rather than harsh. The rain patters against the glass on all sides, and the sound is wonderful, surrounding you completely. In this room are telescopes, several of them, pointed toward different angles of the sky. There are also comfortable chairs positioned near the windows, and small tables with books about astronomy, charts of constellations, journals where guests have recorded their observations. On clear nights, Margaret explains, this room offers spectacular views of the stars. The hotel is far from any city, so there's no light pollution. The sky here is dark, and the stars are brilliant. Many guests come up here at night or in the early morning before dawn to watch the heavens. But even on rainy days like this, the room has its own charm. The sound of rain on glass, the gray light, the feeling of being suspended between earth and sky. You move to one of the windows and look out. From this height, you can see much more of the gardens than you could from your room. You can see how they spread out in all directions from the hotel, each garden room connected by paths and archways. The whole thing an intricate design of geometry and nature working together. You can see the wild areas beyond the formal gardens too, places where the land has been left to grow as it pleases, forests and meadows disappearing into mist. Beautiful, isn't it? Margaret says beside you. The gardens were designed to be experienced up close, walking through them, touching and smelling, and being immersed in them. But seen from above like this, you can appreciate the overall design, the vision of the architect who created them. Both perspectives are valuable, close and distant, immersed and observing. We need both to truly understand anything, I think. You spend several minutes at the window, just looking, watching the rain fall on the gardens below, watching the wind move through the trees. There's something hypnotic about it, meditative. Your mind becomes very quiet, very still. Eventually, Margaret touches your arm gently. Shall we continue? She asks, and you nod. She leads you back down the winding staircase and through more corridors, showing you room after room. A conservatory different from the one you saw last night. This one filled entirely with ferns, hundreds of varieties, their fronds creating a sea of green. A gallery hung with paintings, all landscapes, all peaceful scenes of countryside and ocean and forest. A room with comfortable chairs arranged in a circle, what Margaret calls the conversation room, where guests sometimes gather to talk, to share stories, to connect with others on this same journey toward rest. You pass through a dining room, long and elegant, with a table that could seat 20 people. The table is set with fine china and crystal, though Margaret explains that meals here are informal, eaten when hungry, alone, or with others as you prefer. The kitchen is always open, she says, always ready to provide whatever might appeal. Connected to the dining room is the kitchen itself, and it's warm and welcoming, not institutional at all, but homey. There are copper pots hanging from hooks, herbs growing in pots on the windowsill, a large stove with something simmering on it that smells wonderful, like soup or stew, rich and savory. An older woman is working at a counter, chopping vegetables, and she looks up and smiles as you enter. This is Clara, Margaret introduces. She's our cook, and a magician with food. Clara, this is our newest guest. Clara wipes her hands on her apron and comes over to greet you. Her handshake is firm, her hands warm and slightly flowery, and her smile is genuine. "Welcome, dear," she says. "I hope you're settling in well. If there's anything special you'd like to eat during your stay, anything at all, you just let me know and I'll prepare it for you. We want you to feel at home here." You thank her, and she returns to her work, humming softly as she chops. The sound of the knife on the cutting board is rhythmic, soothing, adding to the overall sense of peace that permeates this place. Margaret leads you out of the kitchen through another door, and you find yourself in a hallway you haven't seen before. This one has large windows along one side, looking out onto a covered porch, and beyond that, one of the gardens. The rain is visible through the windows, falling steadily, and you can see how wet everything is outside, how saturated the earth, how heavy the plants with moisture. "This is the east wing," Margaret explains. "It's generally quieter than the rest of the hotel, which is why we have the meditation rooms and rest spaces here. Would you like to see one?" You would, and she opens a door to reveal a room that's almost austere in its simplicity, but beautiful for it. The walls are painted a very pale cream, almost white. The floor is polished wood with a single large rug in the center, thick and soft, in a neutral tan color. There's no furniture except for a few cushions scattered on the rug, large floor cushions meant for sitting or reclining. The only light comes from the large window, which looks out onto a small private garden, enclosed by walls, filled with bamboo and smooth stones, and a small water feature that trickles quietly. Some guests use this space for meditation or yoga, Margaret explains, her voice automatically lowering to match the quiet energy of the room. Others simply come here to lie on the cushions and rest, watching the rain, listening to the water. It's a space for stillness, for turning inward, for finding that quiet place inside yourself that sometimes gets lost in the noise of everyday life. You step into the room, and immediately you can feel the difference. The energy here is different from the library, or the conservatory, or your bedroom. Calmer, more still, like the air itself is holding its breath. You imagine lying on those cushions, watching the rain fall in that private garden, listening to the trickle of the water feature, and you can feel how peaceful it would be, how restorative. But for now, you're still in exploration mode, still curious about what else the hotel holds. You step back into the hallway, and Margaret closes the door softly behind you. "There are several rooms like that," she says, "scattered throughout the hotel. Some are larger, some smaller. Some look out on gardens, others face inward, focusing the attention on interior space. Guests find the one that resonates with them and return to it as needed." She leads you further down the hallway, and you pass more doors, some with small plaques identifying them. The quiet room, the listening room, the breathing space, each name suggesting a purpose, an intention, a way of being. At the end of the hallway, Margaret opens a final door and gestures for you to enter ahead of her. You step through and find yourself in the most extraordinary room yet. It's large, at least as large as the library, with a high ceiling crisscrossed with dark wooden beams. But what makes it extraordinary are the windows. The entire far wall is made of glass, floor to ceiling, looking out onto the gardens. And built into the glass wall are window seats, deep and cushioned, perfect for curling up and watching the world outside. But that's not all. The rest of the room is filled with comfortable furniture, arranged in small groupings. Sofas and armchairs, chaise lounges and bean bags, rocking chairs and hammocks suspended from the ceiling beams. Every possible way of sitting or reclining or lounging is represented here. And scattered throughout are small tables with lamps, creating pools of warm light even on this gray, rainy day. This is what we call the comfort room, Margaret says, moving to one of the window seats and settling onto it, tucking her feet up under her. It's designed to be the most comfortable space imaginable. Everyone has different ideas about what comfort means, what feels most restful to their body, so we've tried to provide options. Some people like the support of a chair, others prefer to stretch out on a sofa. Some like to rock, others like to sway in a hammock. There's no wrong choice, only what feels right to you. You walk slowly through the room, testing different seats. You sit in a rocking chair and find the motion soothing, the gentle back and forth, like being rocked as a child. You try a hammock and discover the way it cradles your body, the slight sway as you settle into it. You sink into a bean bag and feel it mold itself around you, supporting every curve. But what draws you most is the window seat where Margaret is sitting. There's room for several people, the cushions thick and soft, and pillows piled at one end. You join Margaret there, settling onto the cushions, pulling one of the pillows onto your lap. And from here, you have a perfect view of the gardens. The rain is falling more lightly now, almost a mist, and visibility is better than it was earlier. You can see deep into the gardens, can make out the individual plants and trees, can see the paths winding through the spaces. And beyond the formal gardens, you can see the wild areas, the meadows where tall grasses bow under the weight of water droplets, where wildflowers close their petals against the damp. Many guests spend hours here, Margaret says quietly, just watching the gardens, watching the weather, watching the light change as the day progresses. There's something deeply restful about simply observing, about being a witness to the world without having to interact with it or change it or do anything about it. Just watching, just being present. And she's right. You can feel it already, how your mind is quieting just from sitting here, looking out at the rain-soaked gardens. Your thoughts are slowing, your breathing deepening. There's nowhere you need to be, nothing you need to do. You can simply sit here for as long as you like, watching the rain, watching the gardens, being at peace. Time passes, measured only by the changing patterns of rain against the window, the occasional shift in the light as clouds move overhead. Margaret sits beside you in companionable silence, and you're grateful for her presence and grateful for her silence in equal measure. She knows when to speak and when to simply be, and this is a quality you've come to appreciate deeply. After what might be 20 minutes or might be an hour, Margaret stirs slightly. I should check on some things, she says softly, but you're welcome to stay here as long as you like. This room is always open, always available. Or, if you feel like exploring more on your own, the hotel is yours to wander. All the doors are unlocked except the private quarters of the staff, and even if you open a door you shouldn't, there's no harm done. We trust our guests to be respectful, and they always are. She rises from the window seat, and before she leaves, she places a hand gently on your shoulder. You're doing beautifully, she says. I can already see the difference in you from when you arrived. You're letting go, allowing yourself to rest, permitting yourself this time and space. That takes courage, you know. In a world that constantly demands we be productive, be busy, be achieving, choosing rest is a radical act. Her words settle over you like a blessing, and you feel tears prick at your eyes, though you're not sad. Moved, perhaps. Grateful, seen. She squeezes your shoulder gently, and then she's gone, her footsteps silent on the floor, the door closing with barely a whisper. You remain at the window seat, alone now with your thoughts, and the rain, and the gardens beyond the glass. And you realize that Margaret is right. You are letting go. The constant tension you carry in your shoulders has eased. The endless loop of thoughts that usually runs through your mind has quieted. The sense of urgency that drives you through your days has faded to almost nothing. Here in this place, you are not productive or unproductive. You are not succeeding or failing. You are not achieving or wasting time. You are simply being, and being is enough. Being is everything. You watch the rain and the gardens for a long time, and gradually you become aware that your eyelids are growing heavy again. Not the desperate, frustrated heavy of insomnia, but the gentle, natural heavy of someone who is truly relaxed, truly at peace. Your body is asking for more rest, and here you can give it that rest without guilt or concern. You lie down on the window seat, pulling one of the thick cushions under your head as a pillow, and you gaze out at the gardens through half-closed eyes. The rain continues its gentle patter against the glass, and the sound is like the softest lullaby. Your breathing slows, deepens, and you feel yourself beginning to drift. You don't fight it. You simply let go. Let yourself sink into that warm, soft place between waking and sleeping, where everything is peaceful and nothing hurts. And you are held safe by this place, this hotel of sleep, this sanctuary where all who are weary are welcome. You drift in that peaceful space for a time that has no measure, suspended between sleep and waking, aware of the rain and the softness beneath you and the deep, profound rest your body is claiming for itself. Dreams come and go like clouds, soft and formless, leaving impressions rather than memories. Gardens that shift and change, fountains that sing, trees that whisper secrets in languages older than words. When you surface again, the quality of light has changed. It's later in the day, you can tell, though still overcast, still raining. The light is different, though softer, with that particular quality that afternoon light has, even when filtered through clouds. You stretch slowly, luxuriously, feeling your muscles warm and loose, and you sit up on the window seat. The comfort room is still empty except for you, quiet and peaceful. The only sound the rain and the occasional creak of the old building settling. You feel wonderfully rested, that deep rest that comes from sleeping in the middle of the day, the kind of sleep you rarely allow yourself in your normal life. But here, there are no shoulds, no obligations. You can sleep when you're tired, wake when you're rested, and no one judges, no one questions. Stand and move to the window, pressing your palm against the glass. It's cool to the touch, and you can feel the faint vibration of raindrops hitting the other side. The gardens are beautiful in this light, the greens even deeper, the wet stones and paths gleaming like they've been polished. You can see movement out there, a figure walking slowly along one of the paths, bundled in a rain jacket, clearly another guest taking advantage of the weather to explore. The sight makes you smile. You're not alone here, you realize. There are others, other weary souls seeking rest, finding peace in this sanctuary. The thought makes you curious. You've been so immersed in your own experience, so focused on the gardens and the rooms and your own journey toward rest, that you haven't really thought about the other guests. How many are there? What are their stories? What brought them to the Hotel of Sleep? You decide to explore more of the hotel, to see if you might encounter someone, or at least see more evidence of the life that flows through this place. You leave the comfort room and make your way back through the corridors, but this time you're more aware, more observant. You notice small details you missed before. A pair of shoes outside one of the bedroom doors, set there to be cleaned. A book left on a side table in the hallway. A bookmark tucked inside, waiting for its reader to return. A sweater draped over the back of a chair, soft and worn and loved. These small evidences of other people, other lives, make the hotel feel more real somehow, more grounded. It's not just a dream or a fantasy, but an actual place where actual people come to find actual rest. The thought is comforting. You make your way down a staircase you haven't used before, one that spirals down and down, and you realize you're descending below the main floor, into what must be the basement or lower level of the hotel. But when you emerge at the bottom of the stairs, you find not a dark basement, but a beautifully lit corridor, warm and welcoming, with the same care and attention to detail as the rest of the hotel. The first door you come to has a small sign, the bathing room. Curious, you open it and step inside, and your breath catches. It's a spa, you realize, but not a modern, clinical spa. Something older, more traditional, more focused on comfort and healing than on luxury and status. The room is large and tiled in soft cream and blue, the tiles arranged in gentle patterns that are pleasing to the eye. There are several deep bathtubs, each one made of smooth stone or porcelain, each one positioned near a window that looks out onto what appears to be an underground garden, lit by soft lights, filled with ferns and moss and small fountains. The sound of water is everywhere, trickling and flowing, creating that same soothing white noise you've come to associate with this place. But there's more. Against one wall are several shower stalls, each one large and enclosed, with multiple shower heads that promise a waterfall experience. Against another wall are massage tables, draped in soft linens, with shelves nearby holding oils and lotions and towels. And in the center of the room, sunk into the floor, is a large soaking pool, perhaps 15 feet across, the water steaming gently, herbs floating on its surface, filling the air with the scent of lavender and eucalyptus, and something else, something mineral and ancient. You're alone in this space, and it feels like a gift, a discovery. You move to the edge of the soaking pool and dip your fingers in. The water is perfectly warm, not too hot, just warm enough to relax muscles and soothe aches. You can see how deep the pool is, steps leading down into it, and you imagine sinking into that warm, herb-scented water, feeling it embrace you, support you, heal you. There's a small changing area off to one side, and you find thick robes hanging on hooks, towels stacked on shelves, everything you might need. A sign, handwritten in that same elegant script you saw at the gate, reads, "All guests are welcome to use the bathing facilities at any time. Please treat this space with respect and care. Enjoy the healing waters." The idea of slipping into that warm pool is incredibly appealing, but you're not quite ready yet. You want to explore more first, to see what else this lower level might hold. You leave the bathing room and continue down the corridor. The next room you discover is labeled the music room, though when you enter, you realize it's different from the music room upstairs with the grand piano. This one is smaller, more intimate, and filled with instruments you can actually play without any formal training. There are drums of various sizes, their skins taut and ready. There are bells and chimes hanging from stands, ready to be struck and set singing. There are rain sticks and shakers, bowls that sing when you run a mallet around their rim, wind chimes suspended from the ceiling that move and tinkle in the air currents from the ventilation system. And there, in the corner, is something that makes you smile. A music box, but enormous, the size of a small cabinet with a crank on the side. You move to it and read the small plaque, "Wind me and I will play." Each song is different. Listen and let the music carry you. You reach out and turn the crank, and immediately the music box comes to life. The mechanism inside begins to turn, and out comes the most beautiful music. It's a melody you don't recognize, played on what sounds like bells and chimes, sweet and clear and slightly melancholy. The song is slow, dreamy, perfect for this rainy day, this peaceful place. You stand there, turning the crank slowly, listening to the music fill the room, and you feel something inside you soften even further. Some last bit of resistance, releasing. Music has always had this power, you think, to reach past the mind and speak directly to the heart, to to the soul. This melody, simple as it is telling you something. It's okay to rest. It's okay to let go. It's okay to simply be here in this moment with no purpose other than to exist and to listen and to feel. The song ends, the mechanism winding down, and the last notes fade into silence. You're about to leave when you notice something else in the room. A wall covered in what look like small cards, pinned up with tacks, dozens of them, maybe hundreds. You move closer to read them and realize they're messages from past guests. "Thank you for the peace I found here," one reads. "I didn't know how tired I was until I arrived, and I didn't know how rested I could be until I left." Another says, "The gardens healed something in me I didn't know was broken. I will carry the memory of the fountain forever." And another, "To future guests, let yourself receive what this place offers. Don't fight it. Don't feel guilty. You deserve this rest." Reading these messages, you feel connected to all the people who came before you, all the weary souls who found their way to this hotel and found what they needed here. You're part of a long line of seekers, of rest seekers, and that's a beautiful thing to be part of. You continue your exploration and find more rooms on this lower level. A crafting room filled with supplies for painting and drawing, knitting and sewing, any creative pursuit you might want to try. The sign here reads, "Create without judgment." There are no mistakes in art, only experiments and discoveries. There's a room full of puzzles, thousands of pieces spread across tables. Some puzzles started by previous guests and waiting for someone to add a few more pieces. The slow, meditative work of finding where pieces fit, building something beautiful, one small piece at a time. There's a room with comfortable chairs arranged in a circle around a fireplace and shelves lined with journals. The sign here says, "Writing room." Pour your thoughts onto paper. Unburden your mind. All journals are private and will never be read by anyone but you. And finally, at the end of the corridor, you find a room that's almost empty. Just a wooden floor, polished to a shine, and mirrors along one wall, and a bar for stretching. A movement room, you realize, for yoga or dance or tai chi, or simply for stretching and moving your body in whatever way feels good. Large windows look out onto that same underground garden, and the light is soft and green, filtered through the ferns. You step into this room and immediately feel called to move. Your body has been still for so long, resting and sleeping and sitting, and now it wants to move, to stretch, to flow. You move to the center of the room and begin to stretch, slowly, gently, nothing strenuous or forced. Just extending your arms overhead, bending from side to side, rolling your shoulders, tilting your head. Each movement feels good, your muscles responding with gratitude, your joints releasing with soft pops and cracks. You move more, flowing from one position to another, not following any particular routine or discipline, but just listening to your body and doing what it asks for. A forward fold, hanging heavy, feeling gravity lengthen your spine. A gentle twist, wringing out tension from your torso. a balance pose, standing on one leg, feeling strong and stable and present. The rain continues outside the window, and you can hear it, a soft accompaniment to your movement. You find yourself breathing more deeply, more fully, and each breath seems to create more space inside you, more room, more openness. You move for perhaps 20 minutes, and by the time you finish, you're warm and loose and energized in a gentle way. Not the jittery energy of caffeine or stress, but the clean, clear energy of a body that's been cared for, listened to, honored. You leave the movement room and make your way back toward the stairs. But as you pass the bathing room again, you pause. The pull is stronger now. Your body has moved, and now it wants to soak, to be held by warm water, to let the herbs work their magic on your tired muscles. You enter the bathing room and make your way to the changing area. You remove your comfortable clothes and slip into one of the thick robes. It's soft and warm, clearly fresh from being washed, and it smells like lavender and sunshine. You tie the belt and pad barefoot to the edge of the soaking pool. The water is still steaming gently, the herbs still floating on its surface. You can see them now, sprigs of lavender and eucalyptus, chamomile flowers, rose petals. The scent rising from the water is heavenly, soothing and calming and healing all at once. You slip off the robe and hang it on a nearby hook, and then you step into the water. It's warm, perfectly warm, and as you descend the steps and lower yourself into the pool, you feel every muscle in your body sigh with relief. The water comes up to your shoulders when you sit on the built-in bench that runs around the pool's perimeter, and you lean back, resting your head on the smooth stone edge, and close your eyes. Oh, this is perfect. The warmth seeps into your muscles, unknotting tensions you didn't even know you were holding. The herbs release their essential oils into the water and into the air, and breathing them in, you feel your sinuses clear, your breathing deepen, your mind quiet. You float there, suspended in the warm water, and time becomes meaningless again. There's only this moment, this perfect now, this sensation of being held and warmed and cared for. The rain continues somewhere above you. You can hear it faintly, and the sound blends with the sound of the small fountains in the underground garden visible through the windows, creating a symphony of water in all its forms. Your mind begins to wander, drifting from thought to thought like a leaf floating on a stream. You think about your life outside this place, the things you left behind when you walked through that iron gate. The stress and worry, the endless to-do lists, the pressure to be productive, to achieve, to succeed. All of it feels very far away now, like something from another life, another version of yourself. And you realize that you're not the same person who arrived here yesterday. Something has shifted, changed, transformed. You're softer now, more open, more at peace. The hard edges you developed to protect yourself, to get through each day, they're dissolving in this warm water, washing away with the herbs and the minerals and the care this place is offering you. You're not sure how long you soak. long enough for the water to work its magic, long enough for every muscle to fully relax, long enough for your skin to soften and your mind to empty of everything except peace. When you finally emerge from the pool, you feel almost newborn, tender, and clean and new. You dry yourself with one of the thick towels, so soft it feels like being dried with clouds, and you slip back into the robe. You're warm and relaxed and slightly drowsy in the best possible way. You make your way back upstairs, climbing the spiral staircase slowly, your hand trailing along the banister. When you emerge on the main floor, you find that evening is approaching. The light coming through the windows has that quality of dusk, soft and golden and fatting. The rain has finally stopped, you realize, though the world outside is still wet, still dripping, still gleaming with moisture. You wander through the main floor, not looking for anything in particular, just drifting, seeing where your feet take you. You find yourself back in the parlor where you first met Margaret, and the fire is still burning in the fireplace, crackling and warm and welcoming. You sink into one of the armchairs near the fire, pulling your robe tighter around you, and you simply sit, watching the flames dance. A few minutes later, Margaret appears, as if summoned by your presence. She's carrying a tray, and on it are 2 cups of tea and a plate of small cookies, golden and dusted with sugar. "I thought I might find you here," she says with a smile, setting the tray on the small table beside your chair. "How was your exploration? Did you discover the lower level?" You tell her about the rooms you found, the music box and the soaking pool, the movement room and the crafting space. She listens with that quality of full attention she has, truly hearing you, and her eyes shine with pleasure at your discoveries. The hotel has a way of revealing itself to each guest in the order they need, she says. Some people find the library first, others the gardens, others the bathing room. Whatever you discover when you discover it is exactly right for you and your journey here. She settles into the chair opposite yours, cradling her own cup of tea, and for a while, you both sit in comfortable silence, sipping your tea, watching the fire, listening to the silence that's settled over the hotel now that the rain has stopped. "The rain was beautiful," Margaret says eventually. "It always is. But there's something special about the time just after rain stops, don't you think? The world feels washed clean, renewed. The air smells different. Everything looks sharper, clearer, more vivid. It's like the world has taken a bath, just as you did, and emerged refreshed." You smile at the comparison. It's true. You can feel it even from inside, that particular energy that comes after rain. Freshness, newness, possibility. "Would you like to see the gardens again?" Margaret asks. "In this light, just after rain, they're particularly beautiful. And I think you'd enjoy seeing the evening garden. It's a section you haven't visited yet, designed specifically to be experienced at dusk and into the night. The plants there are chosen for their evening blooms, their night fragrances, their ability to glow in moonlight. The evening garden. The phrase alone is enticing, You nod, yes. You'd very much like to see it. Wonderful, Margaret says, setting down her teacup. Let me get you some dry clothes, something warm, and then we'll go explore. The evening is the perfect time for it. She disappears for a few minutes and returns with clothes for you, soft and comfortable and warm. You change in the small powder room off the parlor, and when you emerge, you're wearing thick socks and soft pants and a sweater that feels like being hugged. Margaret has put on a cardigan as well, and together you make your way to the back of the hotel, to a door you haven't used before. This door opens onto a different section of the covered walkway system that winds through the gardens, and you step outside into the cool evening air. It smells incredible, that after-rain smell magnified 100 times by all the plants and earth and growing things. You breathe deeply, filling your lungs with it, and it's like drinking pure refreshment. The light is fading quickly now, the sun having set behind the thick clouds, and the sky is a gradient of colors. Deep blue overhead, fading to purple and pink, and finally to a pale gold at the horizon. The first stars are beginning to appear, faint but growing brighter as the darkness deepens. Margaret leads you along the walkway, which curves through the gardens in a new direction, away from the areas you've already explored. The paths are wet, puddles reflecting the sky, and your footsteps make soft splashing sounds as you walk. Everything is dripping, the sound of water falling from leaves and branches, creating a gentle percussion all around you. You pass through several of the garden rooms you've seen before, but they look different now in this light. The meditation garden with its standing stones looks almost mystical, the stones dark against the fading sky, like ancient sentinels keeping watch. The fountain in the sanctuary garden is still flowing, but the lights around it have been turned on, and it glows like a jewel, the water catching and reflecting the light. And then you pass through an archway woven with some kind of vine, and suddenly you're in a new space, and you stop, catching your breath at the beauty of it. The evening garden is designed in concentric circles, like ripples spreading out from a center point. The paths are made of white stone that seems to glow in the dim light, and they spiral inward, drawing the eye and the feet toward the center. The plants here are different from the other gardens, chosen specifically for this time of day. There are evening primrose, their yellow flowers fully open now, glowing like small suns in the dusk. There are night-blooming jasmine, their white flowers releasing a fragrance so sweet and intense, it makes you dizzy with pleasure. There are moonflowers, great white trumpet-shaped blooms that seem to capture and hold the fading light. And there are plants with silvery leaves, dusty miller, and lamb's ear and artemisia, that glow silver white in the dim light, creating patterns and pathways of luminescence. But what draws your attention most is the center of the spiral. There, lit by subtle lights hidden among the plants, is a circular area paved in that same white stone. And in the center of this circle is a sculpture, abstract and beautiful, made of metal that's been allowed to rust and patina to shades of bronze and green and blue. The sculpture is tall, perhaps 8 feet, and it's shaped like flames or leaves or water, depending on how you look at it, organic and flowing and alive. The evening garden is about transition, Margaret explains, as you walk slowly along the spiral path, moving inward toward the center. About the time between day and night, light and dark, waking and sleeping. It's a liminal space, and liminal spaces are powerful. They're where transformation happens, where one thing becomes another. You continue walking the spiral, and as you move inward, you notice more details. Small lanterns placed among the plants, their candles flickering gently. Wind chimes hanging from posts, their soft notes carried on the evening breeze. Benches placed at intervals along the path, inviting you to stop and sit and simply be present in this transitional time. The fragrance of the night-blooming flowers grows stronger as you approach the center, and by the time you reach the circular area around the sculpture, the scent is almost overwhelming, but in the best way. Sweet and heady and intoxicating, it fills your senses, making everything feel slightly dreamlike, slightly unreal. You stand before the sculpture, looking up at it, and in the dim light it seems to move, to flow, even though you know it's solid metal. It's the shadows, you realize, cast by the hidden lights and the flickering lanterns, creating the illusion of movement, of life. Many guests come here at this time of day, Margaret says softly beside you, to mark the transition from afternoon to evening, from activity to rest. It's a kind of ritual, a way of consciously choosing to let the day end and the night begin. A way of giving permission for sleep to come when it's ready. You understand. This garden, this spiral path, this sculpture, they're all tools. Tools for transition, for transformation, for preparing yourself for the final surrender into sleep. You and Margaret sit on one of the benches near the sculpture, and you watch as the light continues to fade and the stars continue to emerge. The sky is almost fully dark now, the deep blue of night, and the stars are brilliant, more than you've ever seen in your light-polluted city life. The Milky Way is visible, a river of light flowing across the sky, and you sit there with your head tilted back, watching the stars, feeling small and large at the same time. Small because you're just one tiny person on one tiny planet in this vast, incomprehensible universe. Large because you're part of it all, connected to everything, made of the same stuff as the stars themselves. Carbon and nitrogen and oxygen, elements forged in the hearts of ancient stars, now walking around in the form of you, conscious and aware, and able to look up at the night sky and understand, at least a little, your place in it all. Time passes in the evening garden, measured by the slow rotation of the stars overhead and the gradual deepening of the darkness. More lights come on throughout the garden, subtle and soft, enough to see by, but not so much that they drown out the natural beauty of the night. Eventually, Margaret speaks. I think, she says gently, that it might be time for you to return to your room. Your body is telling you it's ready for sleep again, deep sleep, the kind that heals and restores at the deepest levels. Would you like me to walk with you, or would you prefer to find your own way? You consider. Part of you wants her company, her presence, her gentle care. But another part wants to walk alone, to experience the solitude, to be alone with your thoughts and feelings as you make your way back to your room. You tell her you'd like to walk alone, and she nods with understanding. Of course, she says, the path back is easy to find. Just follow the white stones and they'll lead you to the conservatory. And from there, you know the way. Take your time. Stop wherever you feel called to stop. The night is yours, and so is the journey. She stands and places a hand on your shoulder, a gentle blessing. And then she walks away, disappearing into the gathering darkness, leaving you alone in the evening garden. You sit for a few more minutes, breathing the fragrant air, watching the stars, feeling the peace of this place settle even deeper into your bones. And then you stand and begin to walk, following the spiral path back outward, moving from the center toward the edges, from the heart of the evening garden back into the wider world of the hotel's grounds. As you walk, you're aware of every sensation. The cool air on your face, the soft stone beneath your feet, the fragrance of the night blooming flowers, the sound of your own breathing, steady and calm, the sight of the stars overhead and the lights glowing among the plants. All of it combines into a perfect moment, a perfect experience, something you know you'll remember forever. You walk slowly through the gardens, in no hurry, savoring each step, each breath, each moment of this perfect night. The white stone path glows faintly beneath your feet, guiding you, and you follow it with trust, knowing it will lead you where you need to go. You pass through garden rooms you've visited before, and they're transformed by darkness and starlight. The pond with its koi is still and mirror-like now, reflecting the stars overhead, doubling the beauty of the night sky. You pause at the bridge and look down, and you can just make out the shapes of the fish, resting now, suspended in the dark water, their day of slow swimming done. The meditation garden is even more peaceful at night, the standing stones barely visible, dark shapes against the star-filled sky. You can hear an owl somewhere in the distance, its call soft and haunting, and the sound makes you smile. Life continues here, even in the darkness. The night shift of creatures taking over from the day shift, each playing their part in the endless cycle of light and dark, activity and rest. You continue walking, and eventually you see the lights of the conservatory ahead, warm and welcoming through the glass walls. You enter through that same door you used earlier, and immediately you're surrounded by the green warmth of the plant-filled space. The temperature is perfect, the air humid and fragrant with growing things, and you pause for a moment, letting your eyes adjust to the light, breathing in the oxygen-rich air the plants provide. The fountain in the conservatory is still trickling, its small pool surrounded by ferns and flowering plants, and you move to it, drawn by the sound and the sight. You dip your hand into the cool water, letting it run over your fingers, and the sensation is clean and pure and grounding. You're tired now, truly tired, in that deep, satisfying way that promises good sleep. Your body is ready. Your mind is quiet. Your heart is at peace. Everything within you is aligned, oriented toward rest, toward surrender, toward the deep healing that sleep provides. You leave the conservatory and climb the spiral staircase, your hand trailing along the smooth banister, your feet finding each step automatically. The house is very quiet now, settled into its own nighttime rhythms. You can hear the soft ticking of that grandfather clock somewhere, measuring time in its patient, unhurried way. You can hear the creaks and sighs of an old building relaxing into the cool of night. But mostly, you hear silence, that full, rich silence that's not empty, but complete, not lonely, but peaceful. You reach the second floor and make your way down the hallway to your room. The soft blue door is there, welcoming you home, and you open it and step inside. The room has been prepared for your sleep. The lamps are still on, but they've been dimmed to just a soft glow, barely enough light to see by. The bed has been turned down, the quilt folded back, the pillows fluffed and arranged. On the bedside table, there's a fresh glass of water and a small vase with a new flower, a night-blooming jasmine blossom, filling the room with its sweet scent. You move to the window and look out one last time at the gardens below. The lights are still glowing throughout the various garden rooms, creating pools of warm illumination in the darkness. The stars are brilliant overhead, the Milky Way a river of light across the sky. And there, rising above the trees on the eastern horizon, is the moon, full and round and luminous, casting its silver light across everything. The moon, of course, it's full tonight, or nearly so, and in its light the gardens take on a new quality, magical and otherworldly. The leaves seem to glow with captured moonlight. The water in the pond reflects the moon's face, creating a second moon below. Everything is silver and shadow, transformed by lunar magic into something from a dream. You watch for a long moment, drinking in the beauty of it, letting it fill you up and overflow. And then you turn from the window and begin to prepare for sleep. You move slowly, mindfully, treating each action as a small ritual. You go to the bathroom and wash your face with cool water, brush your teeth, braid your hair loosely to keep it from tangling in the night. You look at yourself in the mirror, and you're struck by how different you look. Your face is softer, more relaxed. The lines of tension around your eyes and mouth have smoothed. There's a peacefulness in your expression that wasn't there before. You look like someone who is learning how to rest, how to let go, how to simply be. You return to the bedroom and change into the soft night clothes you find laid out on the chair, clean and fresh and perfectly comfortable. And then you go to the bed, that beautiful bed with its iron frame and thick quilts and abundance of pillows. You slip between the sheets, and they're cool and smooth against your skin, and the sensation is exquisite. You settle your head into the pillows, adjusting them until they're supporting you perfectly, cradling your head and neck. You pull the quilt up over yourself, and the weight of it is immediately comforting, like being held, like being safe. You lie there on your back for a moment, looking up at the ceiling, which you now notice is painted with tiny stars, constellations picked out in faint luminescent paint that glows softly in the darkness. Orion, the Big Dipper, Cassiopeia, the same stars that are outside, painted here on the ceiling, so you can look up and see them even with your eyes closed, even as you drift toward sleep. You turn onto your side, the position that feels most natural, most comfortable, and you tuck one hand under your pillow and let the other rest on the quilt. Your body sinks into the mattress, every muscle releasing, every joint relaxing. You're so comfortable, so perfectly positioned, so completely at ease. You close your eyes, and behind your closed lids, images begin to drift past. Memories of the past day and night. The iron gate with its welcoming words, Margaret's kind face and warm smile, the fountain in the sanctuary garden cascading endlessly, the stones in the meditation garden standing eternal and patient, the koi swimming their slow circles, the maze and the tree at its center, the soaking pool with its healing herbs, the evening garden with its spiral path and central sculpture, the stars, so many stars, more than you've ever seen. All of these images flow past like a gentle river, and you let them come and go, not holding on to any of them, just witnessing, just remembering, just feeling grateful for all of it. Your breathing has deepened, slowed. In and out, steady and calm, each breath a little longer, a little slower, a little deeper. You can feel your heartbeat, strong and steady in your chest, the reliable rhythm that's been with you since before you were born and will be with you until the end. The rhythm of life itself, pumping through your veins, nourishing every cell, keeping you alive and whole. You feel yourself beginning to drift, that familiar sensation of letting go, of releasing your hold on wakefulness, of allowing sleep to come and claim you. You don't resist it. You welcome it. You've been preparing for this all day, all evening, and now it's time. Time to sleep. Time to rest. Time to surrender to the deep, restorative power of true sleep. As you drift, you become aware of sounds. Soft sounds, gentle sounds. The faint whisper of wind through the trees outside. The distant hoot of that owl you heard earlier. The settling creaks of the old hotel around you. And underneath all of that, so subtle you're not sure if you're hearing it or imagining it, the sound of rain beginning again. Just the faintest patter, the softest drops, falling somewhere in the distance, growing gradually closer. The rain, it's coming back. The storm is returning, gentle and kind, to wrap around the hotel and lull you deeper into sleep with its ancient song. You sink deeper, floating on some warm current that's carrying you down and down, into deeper waters, darker waters, safer waters. The waters of sleep, where your conscious mind can finally rest, and your unconscious mind can do its work of sorting and healing, and integrating all the experiences of your life. You're aware, dimly, of the rain growing stronger, the sound of it increasing, pattering against the window, drumming softly on the roof above you. But it doesn't disturb you. If anything, it helps you sink even deeper, the white noise of it blotting out any other sounds, creating a cocoon of sound around you, insulating you, protecting you. Thunder rumbles in the distance, soft and low, not threatening, but comforting, like the purr of some enormous, benevolent cat. The storm is here, wrapping around the hotel, around your room, around your bed, around you. You're in the eye of it, in the center, in the safest place imaginable. Lightning flashes, and even through your closed eyelids you can sense it, a brief brightening, and then darkness again. The storm is putting on a show, celebrating your surrender to sleep, blessing your journey into rest. You drift deeper still, and now the images behind your closed eyes begin to change, to transform, to become more dreamlike, more symbolic, more strange and beautiful. The gardens are expanding, growing, becoming vast as forests, as countries, as continents. The fountain is a waterfall now, tremendous and powerful, cascading down a mountainside. The koi are whales, swimming through an ocean of stars. The maze is a labyrinth that winds through your own heart, and at its center is not a tree, but a light, warm and golden and welcoming. You're dreaming now, fully dreaming, though you're not quite aware of it. The boundary between waking and sleeping has dissolved completely, and you're somewhere in between, somewhere deep and peaceful and whole. In your dream, you're walking through the gardens again, but this time they're infinite. They stretch out in all directions forever, and you understand that you could walk through them for eternity and never see the same place twice. Each garden room opens into another, and another, and another, each one more beautiful than the last. And there, in the distance, you see figures. Other guests, other travelers, other seekers of rest. They're walking their own paths through the gardens, finding their own peace, discovering their own healing. You wave to them, and they wave back, and though you don't speak, you understand each other perfectly. You're all here for the same reason. You all need the same thing: rest, peace, healing, home. The dream shifts, and now you're not walking, but floating, drifting through the gardens like a leaf on a breeze, effortless and free. You float over the fountain, and it sprays you with cool mist. You float over the pond, and the koi leap up to greet you, their scales flashing in moonlight. You float through the maze, and the tree reaches out its branches to embrace you. You float into the evening garden, and the spiral path spins beneath you, drawing you into its center, into its heart. And at the heart of it all, you find what you've been seeking without knowing you were seeking it. Peace, deep, profound, unshakable peace. The kind of peace that comes not from the absence of struggle, but from the acceptance of what is. The kind of peace that comes not from having everything you want, but from wanting what you have. The kind of peace that comes not from being perfect, but from being perfectly yourself. You rest in this peace, and it holds you like the most loving parent, like the most devoted friend, like the arms of everyone who has ever cared for you all at once. You are safe, You are loved. You are exactly where you belong. The dream continues, flowing and shifting, taking you on journeys through landscapes, both familiar and strange. Sometimes you're in the gardens. Sometimes you're flying over oceans. Sometimes you're standing on mountaintops, watching the sunrise. Sometimes you're a child again, small and innocent and filled with wonder. Sometimes you're ancient, wise beyond measure, understanding things you couldn't put into words, even if you tried. But through all of it, through every shift and change and transformation, you remain at peace. The core of you, the essential you, the true you beneath all the roles and masks and identities you wear in your waking life. That essential you is at rest, is at home, is healed. Hours pass, though in the dream there is no time. The storm outside continues, sometimes stronger, sometimes softer. The rain falling and falling and falling, washing everything clean, renewing the earth, replenishing the aquifers deep beneath the ground, continuing the eternal cycle of water rising and falling, evaporating and condensing, flowing and returning. Inside your room, you sleep on, so deeply asleep that you don't move, don't shift position, barely even breathe. Your body has entered that deepest stage of sleep, the stage where true healing happens, where growth hormones are released, where damaged cells are repaired, where the immune system strengthens itself, where the brain consolidates memories and prunes unnecessary neural connections, and prepares itself for another day of consciousness. But that day is still far away. You have hours yet to sleep, hours of healing rest, hours of peace and safety and comfort. The storm begins to ease as the night progresses toward morning. The rain lightens, the thunder moves away, the lightning flashes less frequently. The worst of the weather has passed, spent itself, moved on to other places, other skis. But a gentle rain continues, soft and steady, like a benediction, like a blessing, like the tears of joy that come at the end of a long, difficult journey. In your dream, you become aware of a presence, not frightening, not intrusive, but gentle and loving. You turn, and there is Margaret, though in the dream she's not quite Margaret. She's something more, something archetypal. The great mother, perhaps, the wise woman, the keeper of dreams. She smiles at you, and in her smile is all the love and acceptance you've ever needed. You've done so well, she says, though her lips don't move. Her voice is inside your head, inside your heart, inside every cell of your body. You came here weary and afraid, doubting whether you deserved rest, whether you were allowed to let go. But you did it. You allowed yourself to receive what this place offers. You opened yourself to peace. You want to thank her, want to tell her how much this has meant to you. But before you can speak, she raises her hand. You don't need to thank me, she says. This place, this hotel of sleep, it's not a gift from me to you. It's a gift from you to yourself. It exists because you needed it to exist. You created it with your need, with your longing, with your desperate hope that somewhere, somehow, there was a place where you could finally rest. And there is. There always has been. It's been waiting for you, and it will always be here when you need it. Her words sink into you like rain into parched earth, and you understand. The hotel of sleep is real, but it's also a metaphor. It's a physical place you can visit, but it's also a state of mind, a way of being, a permission you give yourself. The gardens and the rooms and the comfortable beds, they're all real, but they're also symbols of the care you can offer yourself, the gentleness you can show yourself, the rest you can claim for yourself. You can come back whenever you need to, Margaret continues. And now she's fatting, becoming translucent, becoming light. The gate is always open. The rooms are always ready. You are always welcome. But more than that, you can carry this peace with you when you leave. You can remember how it feels to be truly rested, truly at peace, and you can create moments of that in your daily life. Small sanctuaries, brief respites, tiny gardens of peace in the midst of chaos. She's almost gone now, just a shimmer of light in the air, but her voice remains, warm and loving and true. Sleep well, dear one. Sleep deeply. Let this rest heal you at the deepest levels, and when you wake, know that you are changed. Know that you are renewed. Know that you carry the hotel of sleep in your heart now, forever. And then she's gone, and you're alone in the dream, but you're not lonely. You're complete, whole, at peace. The dream begins to fade, losing its vividness, becoming softer, vaguer, less distinct. You're sinking even deeper now, past dreams, past images, past thoughts, into that deepest level of sleep where there is nothing but pure rest, pure restoration, pure being. Your body continues its healing work. Your muscles repair themselves from the micro tears of daily movement. Your skin regenerates, shedding old cells and creating new ones. Your organs rest and restore their function. Your brain files away the experiences of the day, deciding what to keep and what to discard, strengthening the neural pathways you need and pruning the ones you don't. Outside, the rain continues to fall lighter now, just a whisper, just a suggestion. The storm has passed, leaving everything fresh and clean and new. The gardens drink in the water gratefully, the plants perking up, the flowers opening, the earth softening and becoming fertile again. The night is at its deepest now, that hour before dawn when darkness is most complete, when the world seems to hold its breath, waiting for the light to return. But the darkness is not frightening. It's restful, necessary. The darkness is what allows the light to seem so bright when it comes. The rest is what allows activity to seem so vibrant when it returns. You sleep through this deepest darkness, completely unaware of it, completely lost in your own inner darkness, that safe, warm darkness of deep sleep. Your breathing is so slow and deep that anyone watching might wonder if you're breathing at all, but you are. Life continues in you, steady and sure, your heart beating its patient rhythm, your lungs filling and emptying, your blood flowing through your veins, carrying oxygen and nutrients to every part of you. Time passes. How much time doesn't matter. In sleep, there is no time, only the eternal now of rest and healing. Gradually, so gradually you're not aware of it happening. The quality of the darkness begins to change. The stars overhead begin to fade as the eastern sky starts to lighten. Not with the sun yet, but with that pre-dawn glow that announces its coming. The birds, silent through the night, begin to stir, their first tentative calls breaking the silence. A new day is preparing to be born. Inside your room, the darkness is still complete, the curtains keeping out any hint of the coming dawn. But your body knows. At some deep cellular level, your body is aware that the night is ending, that a new day is approaching. Your sleep begins to lighten, rising slowly from the deepest depths toward the surface of consciousness. But you don't wake. Not yet. You're not ready yet. Your body needs more rest, more healing, more time in this peaceful state. So you continue to sleep, but less deeply now, and dreams begin to return, softer dreams, gentler dreams, dreams that are preparing you for waking. You dream of gardens again, but this time they're filled with morning light, golden and new. You dream of walking through them, touching the wet leaves, feeling the cool grass beneath your bare feet, smelling the rich scent of earth and growing things. You dream of the fountain, still flowing, catching the first light of dawn and throwing rainbows into the air. You dream of saying goodbye to the hotel of sleep, but not a sad goodbye, a grateful goodbye, a promise to return goodbye. You dream of walking back down that gravel path, past the ancient oak trees, toward the iron gate. You dream of Margaret walking with you, her hand on your shoulder, her voice soft and loving. "You're ready now," she says in the dream. "You're rested and restored and renewed. You can return to your life now, but you're not the same person who left it. You're stronger now, more peaceful, more certain of your worth and your right to rest. Take that with you. Remember it. Honor it." You reach the gate, and it swings open before you. And beyond it, you can see the road, the same road you walked down when you arrived. But it looks different now, more inviting, less lonely, a path forward rather than a path away. "Will I see you again?" You ask Margaret in the dream, and she smiles. "Of course," she says, "whenever you need to. But remember, I'm not separate from you. I'm the part of you that knows how to rest, how to care for yourself, how to create peace. I'm always with you. You just have to remember to listen." You embrace her, and in the embrace is all the gratitude you feel, all the love, all the appreciation. And then you step through the gate, back onto the road, back toward your life. But you're not leaving the hotel of sleep behind. You're carrying it with you. In your heart, in your memory, in every cell of your body that has been healed and restored by your time there. It's part of you now, forever. The dream fades, and you sink back into deeper sleep for a while longer, formless and peaceful, just floating in that warm darkness, that safe womb of rest. Outside, the sun rises. It's a beautiful sunrise, the clouds from the storm catching the light and turning pink and gold and orange, painting the sky with colors so vivid they seem unreal. The light spills across the gardens, illuminating everything, making the water droplets on every leaf and petal sparkle like diamonds. The birds sing louder now, celebrating the new day, calling to each other, claiming their territories. Living their bird lives with enthusiasm and joy. The light grows stronger, brighter, and eventually it finds its way around the curtains of your room, creeping in through the gaps, touching the walls with gentle fingers, slowly, slowly filling the room with the soft glow of morning. And finally, gradually, naturally, you begin to wake. It's gentle, this waking, slow and easy, like surfacing from warm water. Your consciousness returns in layers. First, awareness of your body, how rested it is, how comfortable, how completely relaxed. Then awareness of sound, the birds singing outside, the gentle quiet of the house around you. Then awareness of light, filtering through your closed eyelids, soft and golden. You don't open your eyes right away. You lie there, suspended in that beautiful space between sleeping and waking, just feeling, just being, just savoring this moment of complete peace. When you do finally open your eyes, the room is filled with soft morning light, and everything looks fresh and new, as if you've never seen it before. You blink slowly, letting your eyes adjust, and you look around at this room that has been your sanctuary, your safe haven, your cocoon of rest. You feel different. You can't quite name how, but you know you've changed. You're lighter somehow, freer, more yourself than you've been in longer than you can remember. The sleep you've had here, the rest you've allowed yourself, the peace you've experienced, it's changed something fundamental inside you. Healed something that was broken, filled something that was empty, restored something that was depleted. You stretch slowly and luxuriously, feeling every muscle, every joint, every part of your body responding with pleasure and strength. You feel rested, truly, deeply, completely rested. And more than that, you feel ready. Ready to stand up, ready to face the day, ready to return to your life, carrying this peace with you, holding it close, protecting it, nurturing it, letting it guide you. You sit up in bed, the quilt pooling around your waist, and you look toward the window. Through the gap in the curtains, you can see blue sky, clear and bright, the storm completely past. A new day, a fresh start, a chance to begin again, rested and renewed and ready. You take a deep breath, filling your lungs completely. And as you exhale, you smile. You're grateful, so deeply grateful for this place, for this experience, for the gift of rest you've given yourself. You know you'll carry the hotel of sleep with you now, forever. In your heart, in your memory, in the knowledge that rest is not a luxury, but a necessity. Not a reward for productivity, but a fundamental human need. Not something to feel guilty about, but something to honor and protect. You rise from the bed, your feet finding the soft rug, and you move to the window. You pull back the curtains, and light floods the room, warm and golden and beautiful. You look out at the gardens below, and they're spectacular in the morning light, every color vivid, every shape clear, every detail crisp and perfect. The fountain in the sanctuary garden is still flowing, catching the light, throwing rainbows. The koi are swimming in their pond, their movements graceful and unhurried. The paths wind through the various garden rooms, inviting exploration, promising peace. And beyond it all, the wild areas where nature has been allowed to be itself, untamed and free and beautiful. You stand at the window for a long time, just looking, just breathing, just being. And you know that no matter where you go from here, no matter what challenges you face or what joys you experience, you'll always be able to close your eyes and return to this place. The Hotel of Sleep, your sanctuary, your home, your peace. The rain has washed everything clean. The sleep has restored you completely. The journey has changed you forever. And now, rested and renewed, you're ready for whatever comes next. Sleep well, my dear friend. Rest deeply. You are safe. You are loved. You are exactly where you belong. And when you wake, whenever that may be, know that the Hotel of Sleep is always here, waiting for you, holding a room for you, keeping the gardens beautiful for you, ready to welcome you home whenever you need it. All who are weary are welcome here, always. Good night,